What's good, everybody? It's your boy Doc Holiday. Waiting on for my co-host to come on, but you already know what it is. It is Saturday night, and we are here. And here she go. Woo.
Can you hear me?
Loud
Oh,
and
I
clear.
heard myself this time. How you doing?
I'm I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm getting better. Got Uncle Fed in the house.
I got a face mask on because I heard you got the flu. So.
You know what? Don't go there. Do not go there. It's not spreading through the damn internet. You know what? You go suck an egg. I got my boy Craig Hall. He been waiting up in here. Man, Texas Southern in the building. Always got Lauderdale, my boy Big Lauderdale, telling everybody greetings, greetings and blessings. So yeah. Um so I did my show on Thursday night and it was interesting. You would have liked it. You would have liked it. It was we covered everything. We covered MEAC, SIAC, CIAA, the independents. We cover all of those schools, those teams, the conferences. And then I had to go take the missus to the hospital because she wasn't feeling well. And then get back home. I ain't go to sleep until about 5 o'clock in the morning. I woke up around about 10:30. I felt funky. So I took myself to urgent care and I got tested for what was that I got tested for? I got tested for COVID, got tested for um influenza A and influenza B. So no COVID. That's good. But I did get
Flu and COVID is the same thing.
yeah, but I know when I had COVID, I was now COVID is one of
Let
those
me go
things
get
that
my face mask. I don't want to catch nothing. I can't afford
you
to.
know what
Just kidding. Just
you're
kidding.
fired. you're you're fired. No, but I actually did. Hey, everybody that was on that show on Thursday, man, it was we had a good time on that show. Um and
That's where
since
you were talking about the MEAC and the
hmm
is it SIAC? I don't know how they pronounce it.
the
Sierra.
the SIAC and then the CIAA and then the independents. Got more people coming in. Hey there, hey there. Um, Another thing that happened this week hit 1,500 subscribers.
Congratulations.
1,500 subscribers. So I'm catching up with you, even though you started late. I'm trying to catch up with you.
What you mean?
Hey, you got more subscribers than I do.
Oh, um, probably from those SWAT games. That was interesting.
That is true. That is
Yeah.
true. I said Mr. Ford gonna be on today. I sent out the link for him, so just in case he come on, he'll be on. He would have been on. If he would have came on the show on Thursday, he would have liked that show too. Like he really would have liked that show. Because I got a real good meaning of what it is to be, MEAC football, and that's coming from Mr. Kitchens, who is he used to work for Bethune Cookman as an SID and for FAMU. Um, so yeah, it was very interesting. Also, I had Mr. HBCU game day on here, Stephen J. Gaither. I was surprised that he came on here. Um, I asked him because he does cover a lot of the CIAA. Um, My
I'm
guys,
glad I wasn't on there because I wouldn't have been talking about the CIAA.
we know what you would have been talking about. Why you don't cover Jackson State more? Hmm.
Oh no, no, no.
I know you. I know what you would have been talking about.
No, I wouldn't have talked about that. I wouldn't. No, no.
Nah, but he was neutral. He was neutral on Thursday, so no. We had a good. It was a good, interesting conversation. So I would give him that. I would give him that. But but first of all, let me say something. Why is it today? I'm just chilling at the house. I ain't been to work since I ain't been to work since Wednesday night. Right? So but I've been chilling at the house. So today I've been in and out of sleep. How about the former running back for the Colorado Buffaloes, Darian Hagens, followed me on Twitter?
I'm not trying to be funny, but anybody that was a part of a team that was winning 11 last year, come on now.
It, and my first reaction is my first reaction was, and I'm like, what the hell? So you know me, yeah, he a national champion. I'm just a little old. You know what I'm saying?
Is this for football or for basketball?
No, he's for football.
Who is it
His
now?
name is Darian Hagen. He played at Colorado, so he won a national championship in 1990 on that Colorado Buffalo team. Uh, with the guys that he had on there, he's from the inner city. He's from LA. Um, and I don't know. He just I just look up out the blue. I kind of took a nap for a second. And I looked up on my phone. And I was like, oh, what the hell? Why he following me? I cover HBCU sports. I don't cover Colorado. Ain't nothing going on about Buffaloes on this thing right here. The closer you'll get to a Buffalo would be the Howard Bison that I talk about. That's it.
So did you hear that there was some staff on Jackson State campus today from other
uh,
schools?
no, 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 no. We didn't hear that. I did not hear that.
Yeah. I guess they were there for the maybe it's for the step show. Why I don't understand why we keep having those type of people on our campus. But okay. I wonder does Hugh Freeze and his assistants ever visit Liberty?
Oh, I don't know.
John Humbug.
I don't know.
That was weird to me.
I don't know. DJB, he said, can Doc discuss what was the topic of the conversation with Molecule referencing him? Trying to figure that out. I don't know what you mean
Oh,
by
okay.
that.
There was a probate today.
Okay.
Okay. So they
Oh,
came.
the great reveal is today.
Oh, okay. So they flew all the way from Colorado to Jackson to go to the probate. That's nice that they supported Jackson State. That's nice.
My boy Craig said they had 8 NFL teams at the pro day for Texas Southern. That's hey, 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 we gonna cheer for that. We gonna cheer for that. Everybody who gets, they look at, I hope they get drafted. I hope they get drafted. Yeah, yeah, Mr. Campbell. Look, man, I'm just saying his thing is legit. I was like, why is he following me? I just said, why is he following? Why is Darian Hagen following me? I liked him as a player when he was at Colorado because I did watch football. I watched Colorado football back then. Because I watch football all. It don't matter if it's It don't matter if it's PWI, HBCU. Football is football. I'm gonna watch it, and so I'm just trying to figure out what was what's the angle? What's the angle though? Um, so let's man. The first thing we're gonna get to, let's get to these what we got going on here, man. But it's spring football. It's spring football updates, y'all. Um, now I did hear there was a slight mistake that Valley was supposed to be having their spring game on Easter Sunday. They will not be having it on Easter Sunday. Their game is actually on April the 15th, like everybody else's.
Is that the day that taxes is due too?
Yep, tax day.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, tax day. That's when it's due. Um, Looking at all the small content from Jackson State football, which is good because I love it so much. The boys look good. They look good out there. They look good. Molly Q. Oh, Molly Curran is she from uh uh ESPN First Take. She's the moderator for First Take.
What did she referenced you?
I don't know if she referenced. I don't know what she did. I don't know if she referenced me or what. I ain't. I don't follow her. I I stopped watching when my boy Max Kellerman got put off the show. That Bama State, I don't know about that Bama State content, but that Texas Southern content gonna be coming up. I'm gonna see my one boy Craig Hall doing with that Texas Southern content. Uh, but everybody knows that um for Texas Southern Andrew Body, he's out, he's rehabbing. So
Wait,
I did
what? I didn't know that. What happened?
remember he got injured in the last game of the season against Alabama A&M. He messed his shoulder up, so he had shoulder surgery. I think in
November?
December. December. So it's taking him a couple of months to rehab. But I did talk to his mother. She did say that he's on track to be back before fall camp.
So who else do they have in the quarterback queue?
The QB, the backup QB for Texas Southern is from Furman. From what I heard about him, he is not that great.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen what is his name? Did you actually look at the film and the stats for yourself?
As far as for the guy from Furman,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing he has on him is practice film.
Oh, okay. Is he a sophomore, freshman?
He is, I think he's like the sophomore, redshirt sophomore, junior, something like that. But all I know is he's not going to be getting that job. It's still Andrew's job.
So do they have any other quality quarterbacks in that room?
I have to check and see. I had to go and check and see about the quarterbacks that's in the room for Texas Southern and my boy Craig Hall. If he's still in here, he can tell me what's the deal with the QBs that TSU has. Uh,
They need to bring in somebody to challenge Body. I think um just mm,
mm.
I was gonna say something, but I will have to do my research before I make any type of statements like that.
Nah, it's all good.
It
It's all
says Texas Southern got a high school kid at quarterback from Shreveport that was
good.
supposed to be good.
Yeah, but I won't see him being on the field. He'll probably redshirt or um But it's cool that they got 58 players coming back. That is a lot of retention on that team right there. A lot of retention coming back on that team.
Yeah, we'll definitely be able to see the growth. Uh, if they're bringing back, wait, you said they're bringing back 58.
58. We're talking about these 58 started as freshmen. So they freshman to sophomore to junior now. And
Mm.
that includes Andrew Body too.
Okay, so they was 5-6 last year,
Which
four
that
and
was a
four in
game.
the conference.
Yep,
Huh?
they was a game. Yeah, they was 5-6 last season. But they was a game away to go to the SWAC championship. It was a game away and an injury away from going to the SWAC championship.
The only thing I would say is next season, they're just based off of what I've seen, Bethune Cookman is not going to be a slouch.
Right.
Florida A&M is not going to be a slouch.
True.
Do they got Valley? I don't think they play Valley. They don't play Valley. Valley
Uh,
is I think that's the sleeper of the SWAC for next year is going to be Valley.
I would say this: the two sleepers in the SWAC for next season will be Valley, and do not sleep on
Grambling.
do not sleep on Grambling. They have been out there. They have been working on technique. Uh, Shout out to Hugh Jackson um, for making the necessary moves, especially not having John Simon as the offensive coordinator, but you put him back at his natural position, coaching position at running back. That that is a godsend.
Hmm.
Plus, plus, he has to be able to make sure that he has the right quarterback. Now, what I'm looking at is Miles Crowley might be the starting quarterback for this coming up season. Now, Miles Crowley transferred in from Alabama State. Miles Crowley should have been the starter for Alabama State, but they gave it to Demetrius Davis. Um, Not only did Miles Crowley get, he gets the Grambling that moves that pushes out Noah Biden, who was the QB that came in 3-star QB from New York that was recommended by Bruce Eugene, who is a Grambling legend. Um, he gets pushed out of the program, and guess where he goes to? He goes down to Southern. And from what I'm looking at, from what I'm seeing, he probably will be Southern's starting quarterback in the fall. There you go, Mr. Campbell. So we talking about so Craig asks is that how many returning QBs in the SWAC? So how many actual returning QBs? Who
So
started last
FAMU, you got Musa.
right? That's one.
Of course, Texas Southern, you have Andrew Body,
That's two.
and that's it.
Uh-uh. Still got Demetrius Davis. That's three.
Who he played?
That's Alabama State. You got Trayvon Conley from Prairie View. That's at four. Um, yeah. So Jackson State coming in with a new QB. Valley's coming in with
We
a new QB.
we have three new quarterbacks.
Yep.
Thompson's still on there on the
Yeah.
roster.
Alcorn coming in with a new QB. Um, you have Bethune that's gonna come in with a new QB. Southern is and Grambling. So
You know, Bethune and Valley are the two schools that's really coming in full. Well, almost, well, Jackson State too, which is a whole new coaching staff, everything wiped. Not necessarily wiped clean, but new regimes
Mm-hmm.
coming in. So oh,
PP
Valley
has.
said that FAMU's coming to Valley, and
Mm-hmm.
we're not gonna water the game field for a week. Oh
They
Lord.
won't do it. They won't do it. Them
Listen,
do.
when I tell you it's gonna be some flower bringing and soul singing for FAMU next season, they're gonna be calling on Jesus every week, Mr. Campbell. Wade in the water, wade. Y'all gonna be wallowing in tears next season, boy.
Yeah. Talk about grass parking lot. Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus. Come on now. The kid from Alcorn. You talk about Aaron Allen. He did start last season, but he might not be the starting quarterback coming in fall for fall camp. It might be Tyler Macon that transferred in from Missouri. And I watched his.
You talking about Missouri, like the University of Missouri Columbia?
Yep, talking about the Mizzou Tigers.
What?
Mm-hmm. And when I looked at his film, Buddy could spin it. He could spin it. He could spin it. Like I can't. I'm not gonna hold y'all on that. He can spin it, and he got some wheels on him too. So it's not like he's a stationary QB. So he can move around in the pocket. Yeah, we are 14-2 in the SWAC. Be just fine. He said, "You better bring it to Miami." He said, "You better make it to Miami." Yeah, we gotta go to that grass bowl. I'm telling you, they is not gonna be.
The grass is going to be green
The
because they're
grass is
gonna.
gonna be brown by the time
No,
we
it's
get to Jackson.
not. They're
I
gonna
promise
paint
you.
it green. They are gonna
Nah.
paint it green. Why are you laughing about that? Well, when I seen the field Valley had, it was nice for the ESPN game that they had. I saw.
What's going on, Coach Hayes? My guy,
What's up,
Coach Hayes,
Coach?
football. Hey man, he show love to both of us.
What's up, Coach?
He got his canes in the Elite Eight on both sides, on the men and women. So shout out shout out to them canes. And he a Hampton grad too. So
Oh man. Well, it looks like we got beat by Prairie View in bowling.
oh man.
It was definitely um a close. Was it close?
A close match.
Oh, we were 6 seeded anyway. We won we beat Texas Southern 924 to 921 before losing in the Baker format 911 to 854. So anyway, we beat Texas Southern and then we got to Prairie View and or excuse me, went against Prairie View and we lost. Lord.
Prairie View have a good bowling team too. So I'm not even gonna fault nobody for that. They do
What
have
happened?
Prairie View, they do have a good bowling team. So
I mean, I was watching it. They had it for free. You can watch it on the little bowling website. It's a really good format, and they was going at it toe to toe. I was like, oh my goodness.
ooh, okay. So let's get into this. Let's go. Let's move on to the next subject because Jeremiah
I
just.
know you're not finna talk about Memphis because the only thing I want to talk about is oh girl punching that girl in the.
I mean, well, you got the video. Just put the video out there because the thing about it is that not only did the girl punch the in the handshake line, but the coach just resigned yesterday, and from what they said that
They said it wasn't related to she was planning on going to back to her home team at any rate, and that she was going to do it regardless of that incident. But I just think it speaks to the culture, and we all know
yeah,
why she got in trouble. Why she got in trouble is because of who she hit, not necessarily because she threw the punch. Let's just be real clear here.
mhm,
And so what I learned after I did my research, not that it would make a difference, because if you was going to do that, you should have punched during the game. That way you wouldn't have gotten in trouble. Or
right,
not, you would have just got a flagrant, and you probably would have got ejected from the game. So the player that she punched actually elbowed her in the eye,
mm,
and she had to sit out the whole first half. So she elbowed her in the eye, and they ended up having to sit her out the whole first half. And she is one of their biggest 3-point shooters.
right. Yeah, and then people was like, I think I seen on the
Why? I
on the
mean,
Twitter.
it
I
was.
think I seen on the Twitter post that somebody was like, "Yeah, why don't you just go 200 miles down south to go get Coach Reed?" I'm like, "No,
Did you hear somebody say, "Oh, they have better facilities"? And I was looking at uh
for the men,
Memphis
for the
facilities.
men's."
No, I was looking at the facilities for the women, and I was like, isn't there uh aren't they smaller than the AAC? The women's arena is smaller.
They
It looked
play in
like
the field house.
it looked like a high school gymnasium.
They play in the field house.
I mean, I don't know if it's a field house, but what I'm
No,
saying,
no. They play in the field house.
right, they do have better boy facilities, but since she's a woman's coach and she'll be in, from them suggesting that she moved to Memphis, she would be training and building her program in the women's facilities. I would tend to say that Memphis women's facilities is not better than Jackson State's facilities.
They pretty much the same. They pretty much equal to me.
That the women's facility thing only held like 2,400 people. The AAC holds like, I want to say 8,000.
About 7, 8,000.
Get Mr. Crook out of here, because that's exactly what he is, a crook.
Oh Lord Jesus!
Right. Like, I don't know why people are trying to hate on Jackson State. Listen,
What's up,
people
BA?
run with these narratives about HBCU facilities, and they just run right, have never been on Jackson State campus or anything, and they just run with it.
All right now, Adrian, don't let me
Okay,
have to get
so
don't let me have to get Mr. Brown up here shoot you down.
uh, no, but
There you go.
right.
There you go. Oh Lord Jesus! I do.
And Coach Reed has already offered somebody, and they are. I mean, listen, that don't mean nothing. But let me go ahead and put this up here where the rings reside. Regardless of what they talking about, I'm not even trying to listen to what they talking about. Anybody that has something to say about my coach leaving, leave him alone.
All right, we got it. I don't think. I don't look. I don't think to me, Coach Reed is going anywhere.
I mean, listen, I'm never gonna say never. I've been wrong. So she said, "Come where the rings reside."
Hmm. So that means that she on her grind.
And let me go ahead and put up that she's already offered a player.
Hmm.
And this is the standard. So that's what, like, stop. Number one offense, number one defense, number one field goal percentage, number one field goal defense, number one combined rebounds, number one defensive rebounds, number one rebound margin, number one in assist and turnover ratio, and block shots. Like, she
Yeah.
already has her program built here. Not to say or speak on what anybody chooses to do, but I need to find that. But she's already offered somebody a um to play. Let me see. Jackson State offer. I'm gonna find it so that you can see this
Okay.
young lady. She's from ULM,
Mm,
a ULM transfer.
okay. And we got you know what? It's kind of crazy. We getting a whole bunch of people from ULM coming down 20. Yeah, Craig, Coach Reed is the truth. And Mario talking about he been on Twitter recruiting for Jackson State.
He said, "What now?"
He said he been on Twitter recruiting for Jackson State. The women like he did for the football program. Oh, Mr. Ford, how you doing today?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Hey,
I'm
Mr. Ford.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Mono?
Good.
I'm trying to get much better now. I've been sick with the flu, man. It sucks.
Yeah, you taking your lemon and your honey and
Got
what
all
is
day
it?
and taking Tamiflu too. So
Yeah, and your what is it? The
Tamiflu,
vinegar. No, the vinegar. What's that vinegar called?
apple cider vinegar.
Apple cider vinegar. It's got to be the one that has is it home or mom's or something on it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make sure you take that.
Oh yeah.
And don't forget how's your throat?
Oh, it's cool. It was.
Okay.
I thought I had I thought I had a sinus infection. I went to the doctor and he told me, "Nope, you got the flu." Okay.
Okay, I was about to tell you, if you got any throat problems, don't forget your cod liver oil.
Okay.
Yeah.
You bringing back those old school remedies.
I'm old school.
My mom would do the same thing. My sister my little sister does the same thing. She cussed me out yesterday talking about why the hell you getting sick in the first place. Like, I don't know, sure. I just get sick. I get sick one time a year. That's it. And it'll be around this time.
Yeah.
Mr. Ford, if you was here, if you was listening on Thursday, you would have had a good time listening to this show Thursday night. We was talking about.
I'm gonna have to listen. I think I was watching game. I'm watching UConn and Gonzaga. I think this is gonna be a good game.
Oh yeah. Oh, that last game was good too.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that. Yeah, this is FAU's first time going, and that's that school out of Boca Raton. That's Willie Taggart. Them, you remember? That's where Taggart was. The guy at Bethune-Cookman. He was down there. Lane Kiffin was there. Howard Snellenberger was there years ago. Yeah, you remember Bethune-Cookman beat them in football a few years ago under Jenkins. Jenkins went down there and beat them. He beat FAU. I don't know. I don't think that was Lane Kiffin he beat though. Might have been before Lane Kiffin.
Probably was before Lane. If it was Jenkins, it probably was Lane Kiffin then.
No, he didn't beat Lane. Now it wasn't Lane. I know it wasn't Lane.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to get some. We'd have to look in the chat and see somebody. They tell us who down there. Somebody from Miami, who was the coach when Brian Jenkins' Bethune-Cookman team beat FAU. It wasn't Lane Kiffin because Lane did real well down there.
Oh man, what do you think about this, Timona, about Coach Fleming leaving the program?
He is going to Auburn, right? With Coach Hugh Freeze, right?
I haven't heard about that. I just seen it where they were saying that he was leaving out.
The wide receiver coach for Jackson?
Yeah, he's going to go coach with Auburn.
Yeah, I can believe because they weren't they all together at one time? Weren't they all at Ole Miss?
Yeah. They all were together.
Coach Fleming was also up in Liberty. He coached in Liberty. He coached with Coach Maurice Hare, our offensive coordinator. So they're all connected.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He's going to Auburn. I have
Okay.
absolutely no problem with him going to Auburn.
I had no problem going. Yeah. I mean, thank you. I thank him for recruiting for us for those couple of months that he was here. So he did give us some talent to come into the school. So I do thank him for doing that. But we did get back to Coach Reed because I don't think people want her to go to Memphis. I'm like, why are y'all trying to send her up there? Why are you trying to send her up there?
We'll have to see. What kind of move is that? I would think it's more of a lateral move. Memphis doesn't have the. If she's going to go to that type of program, or she wants to move, she needs to go to a program where she'll be able to build it and compete against South Carolina Gamecocks. Not that type of Jackson State could have absolutely beat Memphis this past game that we had. We absolutely could have beat Memphis.
Yeah, that's true. We should have beat.
So what would Memphis be able to offer Coach Reed? Maybe a higher salary.
That's about the only thing they probably would do. They probably would. That's the only thing they probably would.
Their facilities are most definitely. I mean, the women's facility is way smaller than Jackson State's, so we're not going to go there with facilities. Don't they all get the same amount of scholarships?
Yeah.
So it's not about scholarships. So, and she's already built a program recruiting. She just needs a great recruiting class.
The article I read, she doesn't seem like she really wants to leave Jackson. She stated in an article that she wanted her son to grow up in Jackson. So the people can push her to leave, but I really don't think she wants to leave Jackson. Because I think it's bigger than her. I think she talked about her son and that she wanted her son to grow up in Jackson. So I'm not 100% sure, but from the article I read, I think she wants to remain at Jackson State.
I think that she's committed, but as long as Jackson State, and when I say Jackson State, I mean like the fans and
the
school in itself needs to definitely make sure that she's supported more.
Yeah. And sometimes that grass isn't green on the other side now.
That is true.
I know y'all was talking about that grass.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, you could say what you want about going to these Power Fives for better money. Go where you are appreciated and
loved,
acknowledged,
and
feel safe. Not where you are tolerated and where it's the only reason why you're at this school is because you basically are working towards making
right.
You correct. You are correct. You're correct. And then too, she graduates her players.
Memphis is an okay school. Penny's gonna get the main.
Yeah, Penny's gonna get the main pub at the school too. Memphis
is a lateral move in the sense that the division that they're in, or as far as like their competition, they're not gonna win in their division. Is there a possibility that they're gonna be able to win? No.
I mean, they're in the American Athletic Conference, so it's to me, it's more easier. It's easier. Well, I say it like this: it's easier to win now because you don't have to worry about UConn. UConn went back to the Big East this past season, so
they're against. Let's see, they're against Houston, East Carolina, SM, and South Florida. So number one,
Tulane, East Carolina.
Tulane not out here for the women's basketball.
Yeah. Okay. I have to admit, now I am a fan of the AAC. They're getting rated for about 3 schools or 4 schools.
They got Cincinnati leaving out, UCF, and
Houston. And then Brigham Young is also going to join them by joining the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I have been a fan of. I like that football and I like that basketball.
Yeah.
I do like the AAC.
I think that like Jackson State's profile as far as
Mhm.
where she's at right now, like especially with how well Jackson State played against LSU,
Right.
us beating Texas Tech this past season and beating the Louisiana Cajuns, like she is basically right there. You know, we lost Maya Crump at the beginning of the season,
Right.
and her best players. There was a couple of lingering injuries, but basically we were right there as Jackson State, not needing a notoriety of Memphis or for her to leave. She's
Right.
building her own legacy at Jackson State.
Yeah, I mean, the times I've heard her talk, I don't think she's in a rush to leave Jackson. You know, I just told you the story I've read about her son, what she said about her son, but I've never got the impression she wants to leave. I mean, other people might want her to leave, but I've
Well,
never got that
they
impression.
want her to leave. She almost beat LSU. Like,
Yeah, I don't think she wants to go anywhere.
she beat Texas Tech this year and played on a platform, the preseason WNIT.
Right.
One of the games that she played, like the Colorado game, I think that was the game where they didn't have the athletic trainers, if I remember
Right.
correctly. Was that correct?
Which one?
They didn't have trainers because they were told that they would be able to utilize the trainers at the place that they were at.
Mm-hmm. Oh
And
yeah,
they
she
lied.
actually
They lied. They knew that they couldn't do it because it was a liability. So why would you lie to them? You know, so they faced a lot of adversity this season, and they were still able to only lose one SWAC game in their division. Pretty dominant for most of the season, with the exception of a few hiccups, and then they just faltered in the SWAC championship. But she's already has a good base and a good built legacy at Jackson State.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's oh my, she can eclipse a lot of coaches, a lot of coaches
Oh
that
yeah,
came in
somebody
and coached
said
that
that
women's team.
y'all not speaking about her possibility of getting 100 wins. That's huge in just 5 years. Absolutely,
No,
absolutely.
we'll speak
Legacy.
on
That's
that.
what we mean. Like she's building her own legacy at Jackson State. She can be the winningest. Is that even? It is a word, but I might not
Mm-hmm.
be pronouncing it correctly. Coach in Jackson State history. Like I think it's bigger than just. I don't know why people are so like, oh, facilities. Oh, money, and it's like all
But
things.
it's not even all about the money though, man. But like you said, it's a lateral move. Like, you know,
For me, I feel like it's a lateral move. If she's moving up there to where she can, build her program and have well, I would say this: women's programs in all athletics are underfunded compared to the men's.
true.
Yeah, that's true. I hope they are compensating her for the 100 wins. And you said in less than 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope they're compensating her now because she's got the second biggest program at Jackson after that football program.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need to be looking at 200,000, right? What do we need to be looking at here?
We need to be
Probably
looking
so.
at getting a quality president. That's what we need to be looking at. Listen,
Yeah. And by the way, now Southern fired Sean Woods. He went 11-7, and they fired him. But FAMU got two of the worst coaches in the SWAC, and then nothing. They don't get fired. So, Mr. Campbell, what's your apology and excuse for that? Because you and that guy from North Carolina A&T, you always got some kind of apology and some kind of excuse for everything that happens at A&T and FAM. And so they fired the guy Sean Woods. He had 11 wins, 7 losses. How many did FAMU men and women have, Doc? And so did Mr. Campbell come up with an excuse for why they ain't looking for new coaches?
he said, "Good luck
luck
on
on
that." Listen, FAMU got their arena is so beautiful.
Yes, it is.
So beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's probably the best one in the SWAC, isn't it? That Al Lawson Center.
It's kind of like
Alabama A&M.
It's similar to Colorado, where you have these facilities so beautiful, and all to go 1-11, all to go 1-11, all to go have a losing season for almost 2 decades. It's FAMU has such a beautiful arena.
And Ms. Kim, I know y'all paying them people because y'all FAMU. I know you're paying them. Doc, what was FAMU's men's record this year in the SWAC? I'm not talking overall in the SWAC. What was their record?
Are you talking
I know
about
Bethune-Cookman beat them twice.
I think it was like 5-13.
And now they fired Sean Woods. He was 11-7. He had 11 wins, 7 losses.
That's in conference.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
They actually might care a little bit about
Who?
About losing.
FAMU?
No, not FAMU.
Oh, okay.
5-13 on the men's side.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, they
On the
only
women's side like 4-14 or something like that.
Oh Lord, that was bad.
Yeah.
Yep, that was 4-14.
Who was 4-14?
The women.
The women's side.
And they don't need a new coach?
They beat Southern.
But Southern had a pretty good program then. I thought Southern had a good team.
They beat Southern.
Okay, so Mr. Campbell, now why haven't y'all made a move? What's the excuse for that?
Mr. Campbell said has repeatedly said that FAMU is not necessarily not interested, but they're not a basketball school per se, you know.
You mean now? At one time they were pretty good. They had Gillespie. He did a good job. AJ Triplett used to win the SIC.
They got the money. I don't know what they over
Yeah, that's. I guess that's now. They just gonna be a one sport school, huh? It's gonna be football and nothing else.
You beat Jackson State and got your tail whooped in by a 16 seed. You need to sit down.
Who was that?
Adrian Crook. He over there talking about we beat JSU. Talking about Southern in the championship. Y'all remember these conversations?
I'm waiting on it, Mr. Campbell. Mr. Campbell said they're gonna make a splash announcement. I'm waiting. I can't wait.
Ooh,
what kind of splash?
I guess he's talking about some 2 basketball coaches.
Hey, read this. Like, read this comment right here.
Need some tips. You don't gotta give me no names, so I could just be like, breaking news.
Read this. He said, Lin. What is so funny? People keep talking about facilities like PWI just started having these great facilities. Those great facilities gave Colorado a 1-11 record. That's true. They ain't lying about that. They ain't lying about that, but
yeah.
Well, Miak Mike said that FAMU has never had a basketball pedigree. But
wait a minute. Miak Mike, that was a man by the name of Coach Gillespie. He came to Florida A&M from Tallahassee Community College. That man was a great coach. Miak Mike, go back to the 70s. They turned out a guy named Clement Johnson. He left FAM and went to the Philadelphia 76ers. He won the NBA championship with Julius Erving, I think, in '83. So you need to go do your research now.
He was on
that. Go do your research.
He was on that 4-4 team.
That's right, with Moses Malone now. Okay, so make sure you do your research now, Miak. You said Miak Mike, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know.
Do your research now, because Gillespie was really good.
You
did a great job.
Those folks up at CIAA, the MEAC, and they all think they're the basketball kings of HBCU.
Wait, Mr. Moore, I didn't hear you. What'd you say about the CIAA?
They're the basketball kings of HBCU.
Yeah, see, they were really good when I was in college. See, when I was in college, they had people like Rick Mahorn, Charles Oakley. I think Oakley was a little bit behind me. Man, listen, they used to have Norfolk State. The coach was named Charlie Christian. He was really good. They had that white man was at Virginia Union, Dave Robbins. They had Coach Joyner in. Coach Joyner was at Johnson C. Smith. They had Big House Gaines. He was Winston-Salem. They had some. Listen, when I was in school, they might have been the best basketball for HBCUs. That CIAA was something else.
Oh yeah, so that's that whole saying like you look good, you feel good, you got good facilities, and you're supposed to play good. I think FAMU forgot that part, the play good part, because they got the
Yeah, I'm just Ms. Kim. Wait a minute. Y'all spend about $10 million on sports. You mean to tell me y'all can't have a good basketball team, men and women? Y'all spend $10 million. Football take all that money. What's the excuse for that? What's the excuse on that?
He said they're getting ready to make a splash.
Right, that's what I'm waiting on it because I'm ready for some good. See, I remember when y'all talking about this stuff about they don't know, they ain't no pedigree at FAMU. That's not me. I remember when they had good basketball at FAM. Like I told you, go back and look at Coach Gillespie. He came over from Tallahassee Community College. Go back and look at a guy named AJ Triplett. He had good teams. Yeah, AJ Triplett. Okay, it was a time, whatever sport was played, FAMU wanted the championship. You remember that, Ms. Campbell? I do.
Oh Lord. What's next on the what we got next on the list? We already covered our spring football. Now I did on Thursday, we did talk about having we did make a plea to have Tennessee State try to join the SWAC, get out that OVC.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Doc. Is this you making a plea? Who doing that?
So on my show on Thursday, a lot of the guys that was on there, I had Mr. Earl Kitchens on my show too.
Okay.
So he's Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman. So he used to work with
Yeah, I remember Mr. Kitchens. I remember him.
So he was. So I just said, hey, Tennessee State just need to go ahead and come join the SWAC. He said Tennessee State need to come back on FAMU's schedule.
They do. I've been saying that for years because my whole life they played. Listen, I grew up 50 miles from Tallahassee. Anytime Tennessee State came to Tallahassee, my whole town was there. Okay, that was a big thing. See, I remember we saw Tennessee State and Florida A&M played 3 times in Doak Campbell, maybe more than that. They played in 74? They played in 76, 78. I know those games were played in Doak Campbell. They played every time Tennessee State would come, they took them to Doak Campbell on the campus of Florida State. I was there.
So,
yeah. So it makes no sense that Florida State and that Florida A&M and Tennessee State is not playing. That makes no sense. That's an old rivalry. That's, to me, that's kind of like Grambling and Southern not playing.
Oh, Grambling and Southern not playing. That's
what I'm saying. That's for FAM and Tennessee State, and they haven't played now in how many years? It's been some years, right?
Yeah, it's been years.
Oh, that's stupid. That's stupid. You know what? That's because you got a president down at Florida A&M that don't give a you know what, and then Dr. Glover, she's brilliant and all that, but she don't know nothing about intercollegiate athletic sports. She don't. She has a law degree and she has a PhD in because I know not. Wasn't she your teacher, Doc? Was she your teacher?
Dr. Glover?
Yeah, wasn't she your teacher or something?
I remember she was there, but she wasn't my teacher though.
She wasn't your teacher. Okay, I thought she was your teacher. What about you, Miss Simona? She wasn't your teacher?
She was the dean.
Yeah, she was the dean at the time.
Okay.
During my tenure there.
Okay, I was thought maybe y'all sitting at her feet.
Legal counsel at Jackson State.
Huh?
Legal counsel.
Right, and she was head of the business department, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought she was because she's a brilliant woman now. She's from Memphis. There are a lot of people here in Atlanta that went to Tennessee State with her, and all of them say the same thing. She was very smart as a student at Tennessee State. They all echo the same sentiments. But I don't understand why Tennessee State and FAMU are not playing on the football field. Somebody need to explain that to me. Ms. Campbell, I know you got something. What is it now, Ms. Campbell? Why y'all not playing Tennessee State?
Mr. Campbell, I need you to come on the show.
You need to come on in
here. You done called you out.
What is it now?
Show, Mr. Campbell. You ain't got to show your face. Just put your audio on there. We also talked about Hampton and North Carolina A&T trying to they need to make their way back to the MEAC.
Because they're gonna get beat to death. They're gonna be everybody's homecoming.
I hope that they only. No, I don't. Wait, that's the Valley coach, right?
What happened with Valley's coach?
North Carolina A&T's new coach is from
Mr. Brown, the Undertaker.
Oh yeah, he's from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we want Mr. Brown to do well.
I just think they over their heads. Mr. Moon, I'm serious. I think y'all need to get Blue on here. Blue can tell y'all about that. That's CAA, right?
Yep.
Is it Colonial Association? What is that?
The Colonial.
The Colonial, yeah. So you need to get Blue on there because he know all them folks.
The only thing that I would just have a question about for me is that why are HBCUs leaving other HBCU conferences to go to predominantly white institution conferences when their funding is not on the same level?
Well, right, that's what I say.
Or not necessarily funding, but like facilities wise.
Well, this is what I heard. My guy Dave, shout out to him, Panther Nation Podcast. He always say this about A&T. It was always a unilateral move to go into the CAA. And from what he was saying is it was always the move to go into the CAA to cut down on the cost of traveling. So it's always
Doc, you don't believe that, right? Them people going to Rhode Island. Doc, you don't believe that, right?
I don't really believe that.
That's what I'm saying. You didn't buy that. Please don't.
I don't believe that because
don't believe that.
I know Elon is in North Carolina. You still got Hampton, that's in Virginia. You got to play Campbell because Campbell's coming up there now. You have
don't you have to play Villanova?
They play Villanova. They play William and Mary. They won't go.
What about Hofstra? Don't they play Hofstra?
Hofstra, I don't even think Hofstra have a football team anymore.
But I know they got a basketball team.
Well, listen.
Yeah, the basketball.
Thing that I'm saying is it's not. Which I'm not saying that they don't have up to par facilities, or I just think that you're already on a unequal level field for that to actually be your conference. And the way that you gain money for your football program is, of course, playing other HBCUs. Why? Because
that's the money.
Better. That's where the money is. North Carolina A&T is doing numbers with their just overall with their enrollment and stuff. Their enrollment is absolutely great. But I'm just saying, like, for the football program and wanting to build off of it, competing with other HBCUs like Tennessee State or FAMU, or they're always talking about strength of schedule, blah blah blah. Come on, man. I just feel like it's kind of like a catch-22 when you say, well, we want to go to the FCS championship and X, Y, and Z. How long have they been out?
What?
Tennessee State has
since the mid 80s, right? Tennessee State left. They were independent, and then they went OVC about 85, 86.
Yeah, so they've been in
Oh, they've been pitiful ever since. They've been a shell of themselves. At one time, they were the premier black college program football in the nation.
So here's the schedule.
The Southern Heritage Classic now.
So I got the schedule for North Carolina A&T, y'all.
Okay, put it up. Let's see.
So their first game is they're playing at University of Alabama, Birmingham at UAB.
That's a loss.
So that's August the 31st. So that's 0 week.
Okay, loss.
September the 9th is the Aggie Eagle Classic. Now they're playing.
That might be a loss too.
They're playing in Greensboro. So
that might help them.
The next week they got Elon, which is
they'll win that. They'll win that.
September the 30th. So they got a bye week, and then September the 30th they play Norfolk State. In
that's
Norfolk.
A win. I think that's at Norfolk or in Greensboro.
That's at Norfolk.
I was about to say it don't matter. That's a win.
Then you got October the 7th, they play Villanova in Greensboro. It depends on which Villanova team that you get. The October the 14th, they play University of Delaware up in Delaware.
Okay, that's a loss. Villanova might be a loss.
They play on the 21st of October, they play Richmond.
That's a loss.
They play October the 28th. That is, they play Hampton. They are Hampton, Virginia.
I don't know what Hampton's bringing back. Hampton beat them last year, right?
Right.
And beat them bad, didn't it? Didn't it was 30 to 9?
No. I don't even think Hampton beat them last year.
You sure?
Let me see.
I think Hampton beat them bad.
Yeah. No, you're right. They did beat them bad.
Yeah.
Damn, they did beat them bad.
They beat them bad.
Yeah.
You're right.
Now, I don't know what Hampton's bringing back.
From what I heard, they ain't bringing too much back.
That's what I'm saying. So they might get Hampton.
November the 4th is Towson University. So that's
Baltimore. They going to Baltimore?
Nope. That's G-Ho right there.
Oh, for real?
Mm-hmm.
They brought Towson State in for homecoming?
Yep.
Oh. They better hope they ain't because you have to have blue on it. They usually compete for that FCS championship. They usually in the top 16.
Mm-hmm. That following weekend they are in Rhode Island, so they do go to Rhode Island.
Did they beat them last? Did they play Rhode Island last year?
Let me see.
They didn't play.
They didn't play them last year.
Oh, okay. I think Rhode Island. Are they pretty good? Or are they not good at all?
I don't know. They're decent. I don't think they're.
I don't think. Yeah, I have to. There ain't no blue need to be on there. So we asked them about Rhode Island.
And then the last game is Campbell University.
That's gonna be a dogfight.
They in Greensboro too. So
yeah, because they can beat Campbell, but I mean they ain't gonna give it to them. That's gonna be a. That's in. You said that's in Greensboro.
Well,
they should be favored in. They should be. The A&T should be favored in that. That's gonna be a dogfight now, because they did it again. They got one of the top FCS recruiting classes again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's gonna be dogfight there.
But it's a lot. I'm just curious.
It was close. Yeah. You're right, Mr. Kemp, Mr. Ford. There was a dogfight. They lost. They won the game by 7. So
yeah, there's gonna be a dogfight now because them schools are close together, right? Campbell's what North Carolina? Okay, what
Bowie's
town
Creek.
is Campbell? Huh?
Bowie's Creek.
Right, that's not far from Greensboro, is it?
I
don't think it is.
It's like an hour from Greensboro.
Oh, okay, all right.
So you looking at that?
31 minutes.
Huh?
It's only 31 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. That's like homeboys.
Oh, maybe it's not Bowie's Creek. It might
Bowie's Creek.
Other than that.
Now, listen. Now, those schools are close, but see, the reason I'm not buying that story you told that your friend said about the distance and all that. If you want to keep state, why you join the CAA and then you got to go to Philadelphia, you got to go to New York, you got to go to Rhode Island. That's staying close to home.
Nah, they ain't staying near home.
So we ain't buying that now. That's why I said, Doc, don't buy that. That's your friend that talks on your show, right?
Yeah, he does the Panther Nation podcast.
I told you he good at apologizing and coming up with an excuse. And Mr. Campbell, you number 2.
Oh, Jesus.
You number 2.
Oh, Jesus. Come on now. Mr. Ford said he ain't playing no more today.
Uh-uh.
It is
Now Southern fired their coach with 11-7 record, but FAMU got the 2 worst coaches in the conference, but they don't need no coaching. How about that, Mr. Campbell?
So
How about that?
So I got Hampton scheduled up here.
Okay.
So first game is September the 2nd. You know, they're playing Grambling. That's here in New York.
Ooh, that's gonna be a dog. That's gonna be listen. That's gonna tell us a lot. That's gonna tell us a lot about Grambling. That's gonna tell us a lot about Hampton. That's you know what? Now that's in New York, right?
Yep.
Man, let me tell you something. If I was up there, I'd go to that. That's gonna be a good game. Now, 2 good bands, the world fame. Hampton's got a nice band. That should be a nice weekend. That's a Saturday or Sunday.
That's a Saturday.
Let me tell you something. They should shoot for 50,000, man. You got Hampton,
but they're not having it over at MetLife. They're having it over at the Red Bull Arena. I think.
Where's that?
That's in New Jersey, but it's in the same vicinity as the MetLife Stadium.
No, dog. That game should be at MetLife. That game should. That's a big game, man.
It's gonna be. Well, that soccer stadium gonna be sold out though, because I think it holds like 25,000, 30,000. So it's gonna be sold out. It don't matter where.
I don't like that. That game should be at MetLife. That game there really should draw 50. That game should draw 50,000.
September the 9th is the Battle of the Bay, Norfolk State.
That's gonna be big. I don't. You know, I'm a Dawson Olin fan, but I don't know what's going on up there.
Now this is gonna be a big game again right here. They play Howard September 16th.
Now that's where? That's in DC?
Yes, DC.
Okay, that's not on the campus. Where?
Audi Field. That's the soccer.
That's gonna be not. Listen, that should be 2020. That should be a sellout. That should be 2025.
That's a sellout.
Yeah, so, you coming into DC? Yeah, that should be a nice crowd.
So they start their conference play. They play September 30th, Richmond. So they in Richmond,
that's a loss.
Virginia.
That's a loss.
They play Campbell in Hampton. So
that's gonna be a dogfight. That's gonna be a dogfight.
Now they do go to. Now here's the tricky part. Hampton goes to Monmouth, which is in New Jersey. So
they're gonna get beat up. That school is tough. That's in. Yeah, you're right. That's in Jersey. They are tough. They tough. They're gonna get beat up.
Delaware is coming to Hampton on the 21st.
That's a loss.
Then of course you got North Carolina A&T on the 28th.
That's gonna be a good one. And that's in Greensboro. That's in Hampton.
That's in Hampton.
That's gonna be a good one. That's a good game.
November the 4th, they go to Maine. So that's the furthest of the school.
Now listen, Doc, that's why I didn't want you to buy that story that you just said. They got to go to Maine, and they talking about they were trying to cut down on travel, but you going to Maine. See what I'm saying? They'll tell you anything.
Then you got William and Mary on the 11th, and then
that's a loss. That's a loss.
On the 18th is Elon.
That'll be a good. They should beat Elon now. That guy up at the guy that's at William and Mary. Remember, he was at Howard.
Right.
Is it Mike London?
Mike London, yeah.
Mike London, that's right. He's got a good program at William and Mary.
But that's where what's called came from though too. That's where Vincent Brown came from.
That's right. He was the DC, right?
Right.
Yeah. They got a good program at William and Mary. They got a good program. That's the school that gave us Thomas Jefferson and all them Southern slave owners, I think. That's one of the oldest schools in the South. You know, in Harvard, in the North it's Harvard. In the South, I think it's William and Mary. That's a very old school.
All right, so we got Tennessee State. I'm about to get into today's schedule over here.
But tell me before you start. Wait a minute. So, okay, Grambling and Hampton are not playing at MetLife Stadium.
They probably have something going on at MetLife though. That's the reason.
I was about to say that's a mistake. That game should be at MetLife. That game that can draw 50,000. I'm telling you. You bringing in Grambling and you bringing in Hampton. That's it. I don't understand that. I don't. And you say they're going to where? They're going to play where?
At Red Bull Arena, which is the soccer. It's the New York Red Bulls play at the ML, Major League Soccer team. But those soccer stadiums do be built for like 25,000, 30,000 people. and they could be
Well, they
expanded
should.
too.
I was about to tell you, I wouldn't mind if they could go to Yankee State, but that baseball season will still be in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was about to say, I wish they could go to Yankee Stadium, but no, baseball is still in at that time.
So we got Tennessee State scheduled. So we already know first game of the season, September 2nd. They are at Notre Dame. So that's good for
No comment. No comment.
but Eddie George and Marcus Freeman played with each
Yeah,
other
yeah,
at
they're
Ohio State.
Buckeyes.
So
How
That's
much?
right.
How much are they getting? Are they getting 1 million in the clear or 1 million not including expenses?
they're probably getting I think they're getting like $1.5 million.
I hope.
Yeah, I think it will. I think so. I had heard a
And I
million
think,
too.
yeah, I
That's what
think
I heard.
Notre Dame is going to actually take care of the travel too, from what I'm hearing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they'll be able to take home whatever they get.
It says 1 million.
It's 1 million.
Yeah. 1 million. Okay.
But that's still good though.
But it doesn't say if that includes travel. That's going to be 250,000 just off the gate for them to travel.
And you got to bring that band. You got to bring the aristocratic bands up there.
Charging out for the way that they've been trying to hijack the prices. Done went up. Any
Yeah.
HBCU band, you
Yeah.
gotta pay a 300,000 fee for us to perform, and then we need $250,000 for travel, hotel, and I want my kids to eat at a buffet style restaurant. We not
Right.
giving them no boxed lunches.
Right.
That was FAMU.
Yeah.
That was
We not
FAMU when they traveled to North Carolina.
We're gonna take
Yeah.
you pay for everybody to eat at Golden Corral or something.
Yeah. What they need, like you said, Mr. Mona, the football team and the band need separate contracts. The band need to negotiate their own contract, not tag along with the football team.
Well,
They need to have their own contract.
what happened when Southern did that though?
But Southern, they don't tag along with their football. Like they said today, Southern's band negotiate their own contracts. The Boom ain't having that mess.
And we're doing the same thing. It needs to be a totally, completely different contract because
that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Members, I want them to have the same. Like they need a hot breakfast too.
Yeah,
especially since they're entertaining during halftime. We need, and they're having competition. We need for our kids to be eating Golden Corral or steak and eggs too.
Something.
Hey, it'll be a third of the fans that come to the game. They'll come just for to see those black college bands.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just come for that, and then they'll get up and leave.
The game has played at HBCU too, so yeah.
Yeah, you remember when Jackson State's band went out to Las Vegas? How the people in Las Vegas? They just three of them. They went crazy about the Jackson State band. That was when that was Dr. Myers and them. She was president at the time.
Oh, that was 26? Yeah, that was 2016.
Yeah, they took the band out there, man. Them folks hadn't seen nothing like that. They loved the band.
Mm-hmm. They did the same thing when they went to when we went to TCU the year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That band really needs to have their own contract. They need to have their own contract.
They do.
Don't tag along with the football team.
Right. So that way they'll get the fair share.
Right. That's right. Get your own money.
And they can use it towards scholarships and all the stuff like that.
That's right. Yeah.
So the next game for Tennessee State will be the Southern Heritage Classic, and they are playing Pine Bluff. You won't see
they win.
They'll win that game, but you won't see a big old crowd for that game.
No, you won't.
Wait, you said that they gonna win. How you figure the new Arkansas Pine Bluff coach ain't gonna come?
We haven't heard anything about what Pine Bluff is doing now.
You haven't been looking. Have you been looking? Did you look?
I've been looking. I've been trying to find stuff about Pine Bluff. I don't think they'll win this game. It might be close, but I don't think they'll win this game.
Are you serious? Have you even looked? They got some stuff going on over there.
I know they probably do have some stuff going on over there. I'm just saying. I'm saying to me, I just feel like that it'll be a close game, but they might not win this game. They'll get paid for coming to the class.
Y'all act like Tennessee State is just. I mean,
they're not gonna. What I'm saying is too. It ain't gonna be the same crowd that you will see regularly.
Oh yeah, we see the 30, but you know what? That's just them chickens coming home to roost. Because we was trying to let people know that wherever somebody goes or our team goes, Jackson State is gonna show out. Like, And that's in basketball too. The Memphis versus Jackson State game, they had a sold out game.
Yeah.
The next game that they had, they did not sell out. So what
Right.
So then we got next game for them is they play Gardner Webb. So Gardner Webb last season won the Big South against.
That's right. They beat A&T, right?
They beat A&T.
Yeah, they beat them up bad, didn't they?
In the second half,
That's
right.
They
scored in the second half.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah, because that was its game for the conference, right?
Yeah, that was a game for the conference.
I think I saw that game on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're coming back. I think they returned majority of their starters. So they're the Big South. They were the Big South champions. So now they are part of the OVC. So what it is now is the OVC and the Big South have kind of merged. They did a partnership. That's a partnership. It's kind of like what the WAC and the ASUN had done for football. All the Texas schools, and then you got the schools that's in Utah, and the
ASUN is going to lose Kennesaw State. They just got that money from Kennesaw State. Was in that basketball tournament, lost to Xavier. So ASUN gonna get a little money from that game.
I'm gonna say this, Mr. Ford. I don't think a school that has 31,000 kids needs to be playing in the FCS conference. Kennesaw State has over 30,000 kids, and they playing in the FCS conference. Come on, now.
That's like now. Valdosta State has 16,000 students, and they play Division II.
Man, yeah, it's time for y'all to move up.
And West Georgia, I think they got what West Georgia got. I'd have to check it. Mr. Mona, look up West Georgia's student population. It's high, and they play in Division II. Look up West Georgia University.
Okay.
And see what their student population is.
So the next game they play, this is Tennessee State. They play UT Martin.
University of West Georgia has 11,914 students.
Okay. I thought it was more.
Yeah, probably, it probably decreased because of COVID, maybe that.
Yeah. Now this Kennesaw State has gone up, and so has Georgia State. Georgia State is, I think, they're at 53,000.
Yeah.
Kennesaw State is at 43.
So this says 12,718 enrollment as of fall 2021.
That's a big Division II school. You hear me? That's a biggie.
So we got, they play Kennesaw State in Kennesaw, Georgia. Tennessee State.
For real?
7th. Yep.
So they coming to Atlanta?
Yeah, they'll be in Atlanta.
There's another reason why I don't feel like it's fair for these schools to get some of these games with these FBS division schools, because you already going to have an L on your resume,
right?
And there's somebody in the comments that was like, Eddie George might be on the clock, and to that I would say they need to give him a little bit more time.
Well, he is, like I said on Thursday, he is real cool with Dr. Glover, so and the athletic director, Dr. Allen. So it all depends on how they feel. It just depends on how they feel. You got Norfolk. They play Norfolk State in Nashville on October the 14th.
At least they got a lot of home games.
They do. They got Lincoln University October the 22nd. October the 21st.
Division II.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then they play Lindenwood, which came from, they were a Division II school a year and a half ago. They moved up to FCS, and from what I've seen, I don't know if they played them last season.
Now, I'm sorry. Who is that? Who is that, Doc?
Lindenwood.
Now, what state is that?
That's Missouri.
Yeah, that's right, Missouri. Okay, mm-hmm. Missouri.
And let's see, you got November the 4th. They play Charleston Southern.
They
which
just
is
got a new coach. The guy
they just
from
got a new
Albany
coach.
State. He
Right.
went Gabe Gardenia or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if
Yeah.
they'll beat. I don't know if they'll win that game, but it might be competitive.
Yeah, I
November
don't
the
know.
11th. November the 11th, they have Eastern Illinois, and then November the 18th, they got Tennessee Tech. So you're looking at possibly maybe like a 65 or 7-4 record. It just all depends.
What was that record last year?
The record last year was let's see. Record last year was, I think it was like 4-7. Yeah.
Yeah, 6-5 would be an improvement. That would keep his job.
Yeah. So that
6-5
Eastern
would keep
Washington.
his job.
So see 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 games they lost by 2 scores or less.
Yeah, remember the quarterback got hurt or something. Remember that?
Right. Quarterback got hurt.
Yeah.
He got beat up in that Jackson that
Yeah, that was
State
a hard hitting game. That was a hard hitting game.
And then
Miller was laying that.
man,
Yes, he was.
it wasn't even just Aubrey. It was
that was a hard hitting game.
Niles Gaddy.
Niles Gaddy.
Niles Gaddy went off for like almost should have had 5 sacks in that game. I don't care what anybody say. Should have had 5 sacks. And yeah, Eddie George is he's on the rebuild, so
yeah, it's gonna take time.
It would take a lot of time because
if he can get to 6-5, I think that'll get him another year.
Because you gotta realize he still got probably a little bit some of the kids from Rod Reed.
Yeah, I'm quite sure he does. I'm thinking so too.
So
I'm surprised Rod hadn't got another job, even as a coordinator or something. I was shocked about that because he did okay to me. I thought he did well at Tennessee State to be in that OVC.
Yeah. But this is a true statement. No such thing as a rebuild with the transfer portal.
Yeah, that's right, man.
So the transfer portal, I worked on it a little bit today. Is got a new rule in place.
I think I saw that too.
And
what is that?
It's definitely going to affect the students who decide that they want to transfer for a second
time. Yeah.
And I think it's probably important to go over it because there's a lot of people that decided they wanted to transfer.
Oh yeah, we got kids now, they transfer every year.
And they're gonna put a stop to it, really.
Yeah, they saying it's chaos and confusion.
Which to me, I think that it's going to affect a lot of people. And if you are an athlete, a student athlete that's thinking about transferring for a second time, you have to understand this. Number one, you have to sit out for a year. Then on top of sitting out for a year, you also have to take into account is the coach that recruited you, is he even still gonna be at the school?
Some of them are not.
That's the main thing too.
Yeah.
So that's not.
No, let us say you get one transfer and a head coach transfer. So,
no, you do not. You no longer get that. So let me go ahead and pull up my research that I did recently on the changes that are being made, which basically would nullify that narrative that you get to transfer just because your coach leaves. It's going to hit a lot of people in the head for this next
season.
It
is. You're right. It's going. Yeah.
So if you're not already enrolled at school as a second time transfer, you're gonna be SOL. You're gonna have to sit out a year if you're transferring from like Division 1 to Division 1.
And you're gonna have people sitting in that portal 3 years,
Oh yeah, you say you got you
2
could
and
do it.
3 years.
You do get a you do get a grad transfer. So
A
Yeah,
grad transfer, yes, for your last year of eligibility, yes, you do
so
get that.
no, he said you were right.
Oh, he's saying one transfer and a grad.
One more grad transfer. So he said you were right. He said at first you couldn't that was in place out for the longest, but because like you said, a lot of kids are. And my boy Lando, he tell me we talk about this a lot. Because a lot of kids transfer, maybe because they ain't getting no playing time, maybe because they don't like school, and they keep transferring. Um, they'll be like, they're saying like, well, we can't, what I'm saying, we can't do this no more
right.
because it's really killing college football. It's just college athletics to be exact, because of
Yeah,
that.
it is what it did. It made college athletics like the NFL. All the kids were free agents.
Can you pull that up?
Okay,
Yeah, it just made everything free agency.
yeah,
All right. So we're gonna talk about this because it's gonna hit a lot of these student athletes in the head that think that they're going to transfer.
Yeah,
Um, you know, it's basically a realignment, and the NCAA, everything that they do, there's a purpose behind it. So basically, with
this guy right here, DL. What is this? DL.
Eli
Okay, this is the first time I agree with you on anything. You right.
was that.
He said transfer portal is good for HBCUs. Yeah,
which
without
is
a doubt.
why they're realigning everything. It's not
Yeah,
just
yeah. Now, I don't agree with nothing he used to say, but I agree with that now.
Now
it's
here's another.
it's FCS period. Like they're able to bridge that gap. So of
Yeah,
course
yeah.
you saw the who is it that Nick Saban's
Right.
complaining about it.
Yeah.
Who
That's
else?
when I knew they were gonna do something when he started complaining.
Did Dabo Freeney?
Dabo Sweeney.
Yeah,
But
Dabo
Dabo
Sweeney, he
Sweeney lives.
complained. Yeah,
He
yeah,
complained about it, but he stays living in the transfer portal though.
yeah.
He wants
And
the transfer portal to only benefit his school and the schools that are
That's
like
it.
him. So
That's
they're
it.
trying to do a realignment. It's around motivated around the FCS not being able to close that gap. So with the NIL, they're also trying to realign and close the gap to make it.
right,
How can we
yeah,
exclude FCS teams from profiting off of it,
right.
especially HBCUs?
There you go.
So
Amen.
What's that?
See what she just said.
Oh yeah.
Amen.
So of course we all know the transfer waiver process that they had. So this is for effective for this upcoming year. So that means if you are currently in the portal or you are playing hopscotch, meaning you haven't entered the portal yet because you're waiting for spring ball to end and you're waiting for May to hit.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to get a transfer is if you had a physical or mental health and well-being issue, or you had a physical or sexual assault or discrimination based on a protected class, or you have diagnosed educational impacting disabilities. So now these are what the waivers are for. I guarantee you there is a group being specially formulated at these PWIs to figure
Right,
out how they're going to get around it. As HBCUs, we don't necessarily have the resources to have a lawyer or
right,
somebody that's in depth with the NCAA. We don't have a way to document that. But I know for a fact that they're finding ways around it. Like, oh,
right,
okay, mental health and well-being. Okay, you need to go ahead right now if you're planning on transferring, because they're talking to them while they're not in the portal. You need to go ahead and say that you're depressed or da 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 da, so we can get it in writing that you're suffering from depression. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like
Oh
some
yeah,
of these
yeah,
things
at PWIs, they're going to already have it set in stone and in place. They've already probably got the things in place because they were advocating for the transfer portal to be reformed.
Right.
Another thing that the kids can't transfer for. Okay, so let me say, Mr. Ford, you remember this example? For example, Baylor.
Right.
We ain't talking about football. I'm talking about basketball.
Okay.
Remember the kid got killed by his teammate.
Yeah.
And the coach tried to cover it up.
Right.
So what happened was the Big 12 got a hold of it. They damn near almost put Baylor on death penalty. So what happened? They took them off. They couldn't play no non-conference games. The only games they could play was conference games. They couldn't go to the postseason. So a lot of those kids transferred out because of that. It was the same thing with, I said like this. It was the same thing with SMU when SMU actually did get the death penalty for football.
Right.
It was, you watching the news, it was free agency at at University Park because those schools like UCLA and Houston, all those schools that SMU was kicking their ass in football, they went and got the pick of the litter because they knew they can't play no football.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that they'll probably do like that. But another thing that they used to do was, let's just say, you have hardship as far as like your parent or your, like you live with your grandmother. She has a hardship, so you need to be close to home to take care of your loved one. They used to grant a hardship. They used to grant a waiver. Like you could transfer and grant a waiver, and that way you could play immediately for that. I haven't heard anything about that now because of the simple fact now you could just play immediately when you go into the transfer portal. You come out and they come, recruit you. It's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? But it's a lot of red tape on that.
Well, it was to get the status quo back in order because they saw that. Remember, I hate to bring up his name, but there was a time the NCAA and the powers to be saw the transfer portal and what was going on at Jackson State as like a slave uprising. And so by putting in these new rules and new laws, new bylaws, they feel like they're getting things back under control.
It's a record. Everything is calculated. So they're gonna move it back to the status quo.
Status quo. There you go. That's it, babe. That's right.
And there's a lot of people in the comments saying that kids have had their parents dying and they were denied.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they were denied. So would I venture to say that if I looked and there was some research done on the type of waivers that were granted for certain people of certain colors going to certain schools versus maybe going to another school, there's probably a difference in whether or not the waiver was accepted or not, some bias that placed in there. But the reasons that people were able to go into the portal, it's crazy. It says that an undergraduate transfer waiver will be denied for athletic reasons, if you don't have the opportunity to participate, if you have a reduction in playing time or a change in the position or role on the team, you cannot get a transfer waiver, which means you have to sit out for a year.
Yeah.
If you have a change to your athletic scholarship, so let's just say you're on a full and they're trying to put you to half, you cannot be granted a transfer waiver. You'll be denied. Mm-hmm. If there is a coaching change, you will be denied an instant transfer waiver. So if your coach decides he wants to hop into the portal, and this is why student athletes have to, number one, think for yourself as far as like following coaches around the world. You have to be very careful and very mindful after the introduction of this particular rule, because a coach could tell you, yeah, come out here. You know, you can sit. We got you. We'll get you taken care of and squared away. You go there for a year, then you're athletically eligible to play the next year, and then he jumps back in the portal again.
Yeah, I can see these kids unionizing, because this is all, to me. This is like the Slave Fugitive Act. You remember the Slave Fugitive Act?
Yeah.
Well, that's they gonna have to unionize. They're gonna have to unionize, because this is nothing but the powers to be trying to put chains on these kids. That's what it is.
They
I know
try.
they're gonna say they trying to cut down on the confusion and chaos, but
Remember, Mr. Ford, when college football? Let's talk about this. TV, right?
yeah,
Remember when college football was regional? So
right,
you only
right,
watch football based on your region. So
right. That's
so
right.
we live in the Southwest. I live in Texas. I'm gonna only watch schools from Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and New Mexico.
Right,
So
right.
that's my region that I'm gonna watch. People got, they the NCAA, let these schools, they basically monopolize
Yeah,
on the TV,
right.
on TV markets. So now that's the reason why now you see a lot of schools, I mean a lot of conferences, not conferences, but like networks, i.e. ESPN.
Yeah,
ESPN is monopolizing on college football, college
right.
sport,
They
because
control it.
they control it.
They got all the bowl games. They
Yep.
control all them
They
bowl games.
control everything. What?
Right. So it's just a reckoning. It's just, it's kind of like realignment, just like the
Right.
Jim Crow. Everything is
Yeah,
realigned.
yeah.
It's an extension of past policies that negatively and disproportionately affected smaller schools.
There you go. That's it.
Um, I think that one more thing that I wanted to say about these kids is regarding NIL. And so I'm not going to actually like state the student's name, but I will say this, and this is just for any student who is looking for an NIL deal. You have to market yourself.
Yeah.
Your school is not responsible for getting you an NIL deal.
Right.
First of all, it's illegal for your school to be involved in your NIL deal. So thinking that you're supposed to get cars, or even just the thought of requesting that you be compensated
Mm-hmm.
to your coach, that's illegal. It's illegal. And you don't want to miss out. I know we're talking about student athletes and them collectively gaining power by getting these NIL deals, but I don't think that these students understand that, number one, if you get a certain amount of money from these NIL deals, you have to pay taxes on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh
if
yeah.
you are a student that you get half of an athletic scholarship, and you also get half of a Pell Grant, or you get other aid, that aid can be taken away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that students are realizing that, because they're cross-referencing, like, I need a car because I'm the best player that you have, or I need this because I'm the best player that you have. But you shouldn't at any point in time be talking to the school about that.
Right.
So students, they need to holler at Raekwon Smith. He's a Norfolk State student athlete,
Mm-hmm.
and he has the highest number of NILs, and he went to an
NIL.
HBCU.
He's
He went to an HBCU, and he has the highest number of NIL deals. And it's basically about marketing yourself.
Right.
So if you want to get a Ford truck, then you need to be showing, or excuse me, you need to get somebody, or yourself.
You need to talk to that. You need to talk to that dealership and say, I want to market. I want to be the face for said dealership.
I mean, you have to have more than just a face, though. You need to have a social media following. No one's going to give you a car and you have 200 followers on your Instagram. Like,
right.
NIL deal is name, image, and likeness. Now, the ones at these PWIs, they're literally collecting money and then just saying, "Here's an NIL deal," and it's not really an NIL deal.
It's not. You're paying. You basically paying the player. It's basically like Mr. Ford. Back in the day, somebody slip you a booster, slip you $500 in a handshake.
Oh yeah.
That's all it is. That's all it is. Yeah. It's a legal handshake from a booster. That's all it is.
That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So with HBCUs, we definitely needed to take a different approach, which is empowering small businesses in our community, small Black businesses in the community, and that is somebody needs to be the deal broker, and basically you reach out to a small business and say, listen, I have.
Well, listen, isn't it Southern or Grambling? Somebody's got a NIL deal for every athlete, right?
I think it's Grambling. Grambling has a collective.
Yeah. I wish we could. Mr. Money, you can't get no information on that. I'd like to know how that's working down there at Grambling.
You talking about the
1901 collective?
Yeah, I knew it was something.
Okay, from what I understand, the majority of their funding is coming from HBCU League Pass Plus. The deal that they had, they were able to broker an NIL deal. I could be wrong, but he was touting that they were able to get an NIL deal going. My thing is this: like, there's nothing wrong with someone mass fundraising $100,000, and then you say to this small business, we need for you to have an NIL deal. So if it's a clothing line, the collective would spend $500 on clothes, and then the student would get $500. So you're paying, the small business gets business, and they have the ability to have the student athlete promote their product, because most of these small businesses don't have money to do NIL deals. But if you have somebody brokering in between that has money to give them, that's how you bridge it.
Now listen, should do it. He was the darling down there in Jackson last year, right? Didn't he have?
His dad has a literal backing with SPAC Entertainment. So if you look at the type of NIL deals that him and Travis Hunter got,
right?
SPAC Entertainment, I'm not going to say they were brokering the deals, but what I'm saying is the SPAC Entertainment is responsible for all of Deion Sanders' deals with Oikos and anything else. And so I'm sure that was an extension of him. Just like Michael, what's his name?
Michael Strahan.
Okay, yes. Michael Strahan is signed to SMAC Entertainment, which is the same entertainment company that Deion Sanders is signed to. Michael Strahan had his suits company that
he signed with Oikos too. He did do.
And didn't Tom Brady have something with him?
No, like I think Michael Strahan also signed Travis Hunter to like a hygiene deal or something like that. So basically, for the most part, all of these NIL deals, with the ones that were being done in Jackson with regard to Shedeur Sanders, Shiloh, and Travis Hunter, number one, it was because they have 300,000 plus followers. It's not hard for them to gain NIL deals, but also they have, all of them are connected. SMAC Entertainment is connected.
Well, I got my guy Lando over here. He can explain basically how the collectors and everything work out. What's going on, man?
What's going on?
I'm good. Now go ahead. You was saying because you was in the chat. You was saying how 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 everything works as far as the collectors and stuff. Because in a sense, if you really think about this, NIL really was supposed to be for the name, image, and likeness. It was started off because Ed O'Bannon didn't have,
That's right. The
he
O'Banion
wasn't
brother.
getting
Yeah.
they wasn't getting represented in the
Right.
video games, so they was using his image in
Mm-hmm.
the video games. He sued Electronic Arts, EA Sports, um, and then they went up ahead and went and tried to sue the NCAA, which they did win. So
Right. It took 'em many years, but they did win it.
they did win it.
With Sonny
Yeah.
Vaccaro, that's what I said. Sonny Vaccaro actually like it was so funny. Sonny Vaccaro also like started that because he started the Nike camps. He started a lot of
Yep.
things, and
Yeah.
he
Is that crook still living?
Sonny Vaccaro,
Yeah.
yeah, he's still alive and well.
Sonny got to be in his 80s now, right? How old is
yes,
he now?
he about
He's,
I thought he's like 82 or something.
Because
yeah,
he controlled college basketball in the 80s. He
Yeah,
controlled it.
he's about to be. They're about to make a movie about him how he found like
Yeah, he was a mess. I remember Sonny Vaccaro. He's the reason we didn't get Alonzo Mourning down here at Georgia Tech. Because I think Alonzo, wait a minute, Georgia Tech was not what was Sonny at Nike or Adidas?
Sonny was Nike for a minute, and then he switched over. He went over
Well,
to
it was
Adidas.
one of them. Georgia Tech, whatever he was, they weren't. So of Georgetown was, I think Georgetown was a Nike school, and he used his influence for Mourning to go to Georgetown. But Sonny, man, let me tell you something. Sonny was like a godfather at one time, man. In
Yep.
college basketball, that dude was everything, man.
he's a innovator of like how these camps are. Like, hey, we're gonna go. It's gonna be a Nike based camp. Everybody's wearing
Yeah,
Nike. I want to
that's him.
you gonna go to our Nike school.
That's right. You got him.
Innovator.
That was him. He was like the godfather. He told all them kids where they could go.
Yeah, but like how the collective work is kind of like a service like that. So let's take like how like right now we probably have like one of the best NILs like collectives or deals is SMU and BYU because everybody
Okay.
makes the same. They make the same, but on top of that, you can add more. So let's say if like JSU they had a boat party, right? Like okay, look, we're gonna have a boat party. We're gonna have our quarterback. We're gonna have a receiver, and they're gonna show up for the service. So part of that, I'm using my name. So since y'all using me, I'm gonna be there for that, and y'all gonna pay me on top of that because you have to provide the service.
Hmm.
You kind of get it right, but that's how they fund it. It's just like, hey, y'all have to do the service to get paid.
You know
Like,
who used? You know who? What happened though too? Somebody got into. Remember Red Bomar from Grand Prairie
yep.
with Oklahoma? He was the same one with what was that? The truck dealership,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh,
said that they was working at the truck dealership. He was getting paid for it, but they didn't show up. They was just getting money from the dealership.
Was he a
Yep.
quarterback? What was he?
Yeah, he was the quarterback for
Yeah, I
Oklahoma.
remember him.
So that was part of that was kind of like a part of what happened too, because it's like if you're not gonna control what these what outsiders do and what they give to these kids, then is the kids are gonna run. They're gonna run them up. Not the kids, but the people that's gonna be paying the kids.
Right. Well, let me ask my man right here. I said that these kids are gonna need to be unionized. What you think about that?
it's not gonna happen because think about this. Look what the NI I mean look what the not NIL look what the NCAA is doing. You see they're
Uh-huh.
not saying nothing. The reason why they're not saying nothing because they want this to happen. They want chaos
Okay.
to happen. So everybody has to run back to them and say, hey, we need these rules. So you got Nick Saban. What y'all say earlier? Nick Saban's over here crying about it. Guess what's happening? Y'all are
Yeah.
slowly going back towards the NCAA. And that's why they're like, oh, we need laws. We need to go to Congress. We need to do this. But this is what they want. They want the Wild Wild West to happen. So the schools will run back to them. So it's going to be hard to unionize, but this
Yeah.
is what they want. because you're gonna have to run.
Well, let me ask you this. You tell me how you feel about it. I'm going to be honest with you. The last 2-3 years, I kind of felt like the NCAA was on its deathbed. I'm going to be honest with you. I felt like the Power Fives was going to tell them to get lost. Because to me, it's like they ain't got no enforcement power no more. The Power Five schools don't care about nothing they say. Mark Emmert, or whatever his name was, he was a disaster. Is he still the head of the NCAA?
Yeah, he's just sitting there. He's just sitting there like, hey, I'm gonna sit here quiet because you're gonna run back to me. You're right. They were on their deathbed, but since
that's what I thought.
Since NIL came back, they're like, oh, they're gonna run eventually. You're gonna come back to us, and we're gonna put and we're ready. So when you come back, we're gonna have these rules set. Now,
right, and so they probably had somebody. I mean, this is just how it works. They probably had somebody figure out how do we exclude smaller schools, more importantly HBCUs. How are we going to do that? It's the same thing with when they created Social Security back in the day. That was not for Black people. In order to exclude them, they said that like domestic workers and farmers were not eligible for Social Security. During that time, most of the Black people were either domestic workers or they were farmers. So that was a way that they excluded Black people. Another way is the GI Bill that they had in the military. That was also created, but it was not created to benefit Black people because the GI Bill is supposed to reimburse like for you to go to school, but if you're Black, you couldn't even go to certain schools.
No, that's
Listen,
true.
Mr. Campbell said Mark Emmert is gone.
Yeah, Charlie Baker, who's the governor.
That's what he said. Yeah, okay, that's it. Right. Okay. So what's this guy like? This what you said, Charlie Baker?
He just sits there. He's just sitting there because he's like, y'all are gonna come. You're gonna come back to me. So think about this. So what's going on right now? You know, these past couple months, you had UCLA, you had USC. They jumped to the Big Ten conference. Then
Big Ten,
yeah, Texas and OU. They went to SEC. That's what they don't want because you're gonna have a super conference, like Timona said. How can they exclude you? Well, you're getting excluded right now because they're showing it with the viewership. If we make a super conference, it's gonna exclude you. So
basically, Fox and ESPN running college football.
Yes,
pretty much.
Because that's why it took so long for Texas to get out of the Big 12 because Fox is like, hold on, you're not gonna just leave because you're on hook for this contract and you have a contract with ESPN
and you got your own network.
Yep, you're right, Doc, for that Longhorn network. So they're like, oh no, you're gonna either fulfill this contract or you're gonna pay us the money. So that's why, yeah.
My man, what's your name now?
So Landon.
Landon, let me ask you something. Now, I'm the old guy on here. My thing is, I want to be able to tell ESPN to kiss my and Black colleges. Do you think we need ESPN?
To be honest, no. You have something going with HBCU Go. I'll even say my thing is you got to take the good and the bad. Let's say I know y'all don't like, the Prime thing, he left unprofessional, but we should have capitalized more off of Prime. I think if they make a super conference, we're gonna have to counter that out and make a super conference in HBCU. We're gonna have to combine. It sounds bad. You're gonna have to combine the SWAC and the MEAC. You're gonna have to do it because you're gonna have to counter that out. It's a way. Travel is gonna be hard because of travel. Because you got Delaware State, you got other schools like Norfolk. Imagine like PV. I'm PV grad. I got to travel PV to Norfolk in Virginia. It's gonna be hard, but that's the only way you're gonna counter out. And you got HBCU Go that has a kind of little momentum. But I think this because of the deal you getting from ESPN, it's not even worth it. Like we on ESPN, damn near Ocho. Matter of fact, we're on ESPN Plus, and you have to pay for Plus.
Right.
Yep.
So
the games I saw, I don't complain enough. The worst one was that Southern Jackson game that was the Boombox Classic. It was cutting out. I know y'all gonna have an excuse for it, but anyway, I hated it. The broadcast was terrible.
No, I agree with you. The broadcast was terrible.
It was terrible.
And the only thing they're doing is, okay, like the boombox class, like Southern. Okay, look, we're on this. Is what this ESPN does. They say, hey, what y'all are gonna do? Y'all gonna stream it. We're gonna just take the stream and put it on our platform, so you have more exposure. I mean, quote unquote, more exposure because we're just taking the stream. So it sounds like you're getting pimped.
Yeah, but let me ask you this question right here. This is something I said this week, and I've been saying this about the last 2 weeks. I feel that 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road, we as HBCU athletics, we are going to regret the fact that we don't merge the SWAC and the MEAC. What's your thoughts on that?
Yes,
I think we're making a mistake not merging them two conferences. What you think?
I think eventually you're gonna have to because if I mean, we look at the PWIs, they playing chess and we still playing checkers. They over
That's
there.
what I say.
They're saying, hey, we're gonna make a super conference. We're gonna exclude. We don't need the NCAA no more. Y'all gonna have to bow down to us. But the NCAA is like, hey, we have got the joke in our backhands with the NIL stuff. So even though money, because if you think money circulates. So
Right.
play money games, right? The money games does fund a lot of things for our schools. But guess what happens when you have these super conferences? Games are going to get cut short. So it's like, why should we go play Auburn? Then that's like what 700. They pay us 700,000 to play Auburn, but we
Right.
forcing $1 million. But so it's like, what are we gonna do now? You're gonna have to if we make these classics now, they're already big to us in our culture. They're big. How can we make them bigger? You make them bigger, you can eat off of that. Then you have the network to do it. Your HBCU go, you just building it. But I think we should have McClellan. He should have capitalized more. Kind of fumbled. You should have. Promise you should have capitalized and got in the room with the same he was in and learned because these people they've been playing us, for years, and they expect us to be like they expect this out of the business side of us. So how can we counter that?
Well, let me my last question. What black university is doing the right thing? Is it Jackson? Is it FAMU? Is it Texas Southern? Is it Norfolk? Is it A&T? Which school, in your opinion, is doing what they need to do?
Okay,
to capitalize on this time.
As in time, I think. Dang, that's why I say it's hard because it's all about branding, right? And branding,
right.
You have to use social media. You have to use different media outlets. FAMU was doing a good job, doing a hella good job. They're putting out content.
Right.
I'll say Jackson State, what they had there, but think of what y'all are still having the ball rolling. And you think about it, JSU still going to have eyes on them because they want to see what are they going to do after prime.
Right, right.
And they have to capitalize. Hey, still put out content. Sonic Boom also put out content. Keep it going. Keep it going. I think those two schools are doing it the best. I'm gonna say.
So FAM, you saying FAM and Jackson?
FAM, I say FAM and Jackson right now.
Okay. All right.
Before the thing with Ruth at PV, we were doing a good job with facility wise. I think as a whole, you have to do that. Like you have to. So I think like Mr. Ford, you're right. Eventually, we're gonna have to merge. How many teams are gonna be at? Like six.
Six.
It's eight. It's football. 8. 6 play football.
Yeah, 6 play football. 8.
8. It's 8.
Together.
If you.
Well, I talked about this on Thursday night with my panel, and it's like, in a sense, the MEAC is going to have to do something because you're hanging like the MEAC is hanging on by a thread, like literally hanging on by a thread. You're going to have to do something because if not, you're going to have these other conferences going to come in and poach your schools.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
You already got A&T and Hampton that went up to the CAA. When I'm just saying poaching, I'm talking about PWI conferences coming and poaching our HBCUs to come to their conferences. So, and I'm not saying the MEAC was real strong. Like I said, when you had Hampton in there, you had FAM, you had Bethune, you had A&T. You came in and you got a Winston-Salem came in there. Savannah State, not particularly for football, but for your other sports, for basketball. Um, then when you brought it back in North Carolina Central, like the MEAC was strong in the sense as far as when it came down to playing football because they beat up on each other all the time.
But
But
now the
now
problem was they didn't have visionary leadership
that's
because they
correct.
went 20 years with that Thomas man, and the only thing he gave him was a new logo. And now you got this lady who sit at his feet. She don't know nothing, don't do nothing. It's good to, like you said, I feel like they hanging on by a thread. So my thing is, if we don't save them 5 years or 10 years down the road, we gonna look back and say we should have merged. That's how I feel about it. That's why I'm
No,
asking other people. How do you feel?
That's true. Cause think of, okay, who got poached? A&T got poached, and who else got poached?
Hampton.
Hampton. So they gone to the CAA, right?
So imagine. So let's say this. Let's say North Carolina Central or South Carolina State keeps a high momentum. Guess what? And y'all right. Guess what happen? They're going to get poached. Just like the Southland Conference merged. I think who they merged. They had that.
The WAC.
The WAC. So remember the WAC and the A-Sun. This is the Southland is going to stay the Southland. But remember, the majority of those schools in Texas, like your Stephen F. Austin's, your Sam Houston's, Abilene Christians, and Tarleton, they moved to the WAC because they want to move unilaterally with the conference in case of going to FBS. Now Sam Houston is going FBS regardless because they're going into the Sun Belt Conference next year. So they already made their move. So you got these other schools that want to try to make their move unilaterally with the WAC conference. And not only when they'll move unilaterally with the conference is going to bring back in New Mexico State, and they're also going to bring back in Hawaii because those are the two, those two schools are pretty much like the original members of that conference. So you're going to see something like that. Now, what you don't want to have is like Mr. Ford, you always say this. You just said it tonight. Tennessee State going into a weak conference like the Ohio Valley, and not trying to do anything unilaterally to improve yourself.
I think they're gonna go bankrupt with it. I do.
That's the reason why I said, man, look, they go to the SWAC. The SWAC would control Nashville market too. Just think about that.
Without a doubt.
Just think about that. You would control the market in Nashville, which is a fairly nice sized market. I mean, because you're gonna have an SEC school there with Vanderbilt. They not too good in football, but they share the market. They're strong with basketball and baseball. When it comes down to it, you'll share that market because you're already there. You got Bethune-Cookman, who's closer to Orlando, so you could get that market.
Yeah.
You got Tallahassee because Tallahassee gonna have, you got Tallahassee. That's South Georgia all together.
Right. Yeah.
It's just the fact that I don't see why schools like Tennessee State don't move up to another conference. I don't see
now,
why.
don't forget now, there's a law that was a lawsuit back in the 80s called the Wiseman decision, which basically gutted Tennessee State and basically told them that they could not even call themselves HBCU. Now there's some legal stuff in it involved with Tennessee State. But this is what I wanted to say to y'all again. And I've been thinking about this and I still say this. And more money can be made if this move is made. I still believe Jackson State needs to be moved out of the Eastern Division and placed in the Western Division because, to be honest with you, they are smothering the East. Now, Mr. Moan, I know you ain't going to like this, but I really believe Jackson should be on the side with Southern and Grambling. Now, what y'all got to say to that?
That or you get rid of divisions. You just get rid of them.
Yeah, you just get rid of divisions all that.
The top two teams play, and you just do it like that. But listen, Mr. Ford, we just aim dot. And Timon, think about this. So we just talked about how possibly if they won. They're on they on a limb, the MEAC, right?
Right.
If you before that conference dies or like anything happens, you want to slowly poach from them. So this is what you do: you go talk to Tennessee State, and you try to pull them in and say, "Hey, we need one more. We need y'all and somebody else to come into the conference." You pull them, or you go pull South Carolina.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. South Carolina State.
You can slowly merge instead of having the Ohio Valley or ASUN pull out of that.
Yeah.
So that's what you do. You have to put something in front of them and say, "Hey, we want y'all to come in the conference. Look, y'all don't have to travel that much. You have the Nashville market. You're in a good area. Look, we don't have divisions. We're gonna pull you and somebody else." Because imagine if, let's say, we're talking about Kennesaw State, what they did in their tournament. What happened if
Right.
Texas Southern did that in their tournament this year? Or not? Let me not use Texas Southern. Let me use who was another HBCU that made it? Dang.
Howard.
Okay, let's say Howard had the same run as Kennesaw State,
Right.
and they did it back-to-back years. Conferences are looking at that. You want to, so you would rather be like, look, let's do this. Let's slowly, just like Manifest Destiny. Let's slowly creep, and that's what you want to do. So that's what I would do. I'll go to Tennessee State, try to get them back in, and then if I see that one of these MEAC schools getting hot, I will pull them in.
Right.
And get rid of divisions.
Well, listen, this is my last question tonight. If you had 15 minutes to sit with Dr. McClellan, what would you tell him?
Oh, man. What? Oh, gosh. Hey, Mr. Ford. I tell him this. Man, what are you doing?
Okay.
I tell him, what are you doing? Because some of these deals you're doing, and you need to you need to come up with better deals and to put the conference first.
Okay.
Like, quit underselling yourself.
Okay.
That's what I say. Like, the SWAC should have been like this past year. Not these past 2 years. We should have. With ESPN had a way better deal, or with ESPN, HBCU go had a deal with them just in case.
Right.
You just over here like, okay, I'm underselling myself. This is what we are. Here you go, and just walk away. Well, we take this little measly money and just go on the wayside. Like that's how they seen. They're like, hey, take this $2 million and get away. And you're like, oh, okay.
I see.
Okay, Doc, you and Mr. Mona, y'all have a good night, huh?
You have a good one, Mr. Ford.
All right, enjoy you.
I appreciate y'all too. I'm about to sit back and listen.
Oh man, look! Oh my God, Gonzaga is getting destroyed right now.
How Mr. Campbell gonna say we need to move? Who need to move? He trying his hardest to get JSU and FAMU in that SWAC championship at the end of the year. You are not low, Mr. Campbell. You not low. You not slick.
Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus!
You over here trying to set things up just like these PWIs and these white folks over here.
Oh Jesus! I didn't know you. I thought you fell asleep for a second. You just straight up.
And why did they put McClellan on anybody's committee for NCAA basketball committee, and you can't even get your own SWAC conference right?
Oh Jesus!
Did you see he was on the committee?
Yeah, he at the game right now.
Huh?
He's at the game right now.
No, who is?
Yeah, Dr. McClellan. He's at the game right now. They're playing right now. The UConn Gonzaga game. He's there right now.
How you gonna be there? Okay, well, tap him on the shoulder and tell him that he needs to figure out whatever the hell that these folks is doing at they tournament so that we can get a better tournament.
Oh Jesus!
So, Mr. Campbell, there ain't no way that FAMU's gonna be in the West. So how that gonna work? I remember they was talking about merging SWAC East and West and making it just
One
SWAC.
whole conference. Like it was back in the day.
That the top two compete in the SWAC championship. What do you think about that?
I mean, we did it. We did it before we went over to the divisions, because for the longest, So when I was like when I was in school, I know you listened to it when Zoe was on here Tuesday, and he basically said, you know, we only had 7 teams in the conference at the time back in the 80s and early 90s. So you had your 2 Texas teams, you got your 2 Louisiana teams, you got your 3 Mississippi teams, and then you had Alabama State. So that's your 7th team right there. Um, Pine Bluff came into the conference my freshman year at Jackson State in 1997. So they made it. So that made it 8, and then they made it. They made it 8, and then you had um, Alabama A&M came in afterwards. So you basically had your your 2 Alabama schools, A&M State, your 3 Mississippi schools. So that's 5 right there. Then you had your 1 school at Pine Bluff. Then you had, so that's 6. Your 2 Louisiana, and then your 2 Texas. So that's 10. So you had 10 schools. So once we had brought in Alabama A&M, that's when we moved into the division round, to the division part, because like we said, it was always been said, it's the travel part, because the simple fact that your furthest Texas school your furthest school in the SWAC is Prairie View, and they would have to travel all the way to either um, um, Huntsville or to Montgomery, because that was the furthest that you would go. So that's the reason why they did it like that. So now your division, basically, you playing. Um, they'll travel to Louisiana to play Southern. They'll travel to Pine Bluff. Texas Southern ain't number down the street in Houston. The furthest east they'll probably would go, if they had to, would be like they would have to go to Alabama State, or they have to go to Huntsville to play Alabama A&M.
I mean, everybody keeps talking. Oh, heck no. Do not. Don't bring him on. We're going to be on for a whole nother hour. And he missed his thrashing when Mr. Ford was on. Don't be trying to come in here now. Don't even start. We do not want to hear about North Carolina A&T. Champ. No, sir. Do not be dropping. If you drop that link, I'm gonna be sayonara. We are not gonna be on here for no whole another hour.
I'm gonna tell Dave. I'm gonna have to get you on the show on Monday, man. I'm gonna do a show Monday.
Dave will talk. We'll be here for a whole nother hour and a half.
We'll do the show Monday, Dave. I got you. I got you, Dave. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna talk. We're gonna, because I told him we're gonna talk A&T football.
Yeah, because we just talked North Carolina.
We had talked about it.
And we all agreed that they're only gonna win 2 games this next season. You have to donate that $100 to Jackson State Athletic.
He won't be long, he promised.
Go ahead and drop it. I'm putting him on the clock. You know he loved to talk. He's trying to be on here for a whole nother hour. No, but on a real tip. You know I'm not lying.
You come on, man.
He's gonna be like, historically, you know, because A&T, we the only ones that did X, Y, and Z, and A&T, we did X, Y, and Z. If y'all don't, you ain't even in the HBCU realm anymore. Y'all just historically a HBCU. That's it. Nah, I'm just playing.
I'm trying not to damn near die from laughing and coughing at the same time over here, y'all. Tomorrow, you know I'm sick over here. You know.
I'm sorry. You know he finna talk, boy, when he get up here talking about what they did at A&T, and I'm gonna just be like, well, when y'all gonna repeat and do it again? I ain't been doing it. You know I'm gonna talk my mess.
Oh, Lord, you sound
right down the road from A&T.
You sound like you sound like somebody mama from back in the 80s when I was growing.
Listen, that's right. Jackson State, it don't matter if we're in Houston, California,
Oh, Jesus.
Georgia. They really need to do Jackson State versus A&T in Charlotte, North Carolina.
We did. No, you know what though? We did say that too. We talked about that
Jackson
on
State
we
versus
talked about it
A&T
on
in North
Thursday too. We
Carolina.
was like, man, if Mr. Kitchen brought it up, like Jackson State needs to play North Carolina A&T. Like we need something like that. You need, like I said, you need to have your Tennessee State play FAMU. You need to put them back on the schedule. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
You said we need to put TSU back on the schedule.
They need to put TSU back on the schedule for FAMU.
Oh, if it's a home and home.
No, for FAMU. No, I'm talking about just for FAMU.
I mean, TSU and Jackson State. Listen, we didn't mind going against y'all. We didn't mind. We just want to get paid.
I think both schools want to get paid.
Get paid. Get paid. Yeah, we just want to get paid. That's all.
But now if you're in that day, I got you. Go ahead. But I feel like this though. Like I said, Tennessee State and FAMU need to be. They need to have their rivalry renewed again. There ain't no way. Like seriously, ain't no way in the world that.
I didn't even know they had a rivalry.
Oh, they had a big old rivalry.
Yeah, Charlotte has a really big base, and then the good thing about Charlotte is it's like a hub, like an airport hub. So all of the tickets will be cheap to come in. You know, you got people coming in from all over. Atlanta right down the road. Like, I really think that the North Carolina A&T versus Jackson State.
You said you on the clock.
That's all I want to know.
You on the clock. I don't know. We was talking about A&T football, bro. Y'all
listen. You guys are hilarious to me. What made you think I wanted to come in here and talk about football, man? I got other sports than just football.
We talking about basketball?
He could be talking about basketball.
I could be talking about women's bowling. You know what I'm saying? We gonna play the winners of UAB and Monmouth in the MEAC championships tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I could be talking about a lot of things. I could just be talking about a lot of things. There's more sports than just football, but we're gonna win more than 2 games if you want to talk about football. I mean, we are gonna win more than 2 games. Like, let me be clear on that.
I looked at the schedule. I think y'all can win at least 6 games at that schedule.
If we get 7, we're gonna make the playoffs. I mean, 7 games in the CAA was a playoff berth.
Yeah, so, FCS playoff because they can't. They don't go to no. They don't go to no Celebration Bowl. They not in the MEAC no more. But I did say, man, I did say, Mr. Kitchen was on here on Thursday
last year
because they lost in the Big South championship game against Gardner Webb.
The Big South is a one big conference, so the only people that are going to go there are the ones that wins the Big South. And
are you sure you have a good strength of schedule to get nominated? Is your strength of schedule going to get you nominated to get a bid?
Yeah, see that's
good.
Yeah, I seen it.
Schedule's brutal. That CAA schedule's brutal.
Well, at least you ain't got to go to Maine. You don't have to go to New Hampshire. So you don't have to go to those 2 places.
Maine's an easy game.
You don't have to play. You don't have to play Mama. You don't have to play Mama. So, but you do got to play William and Mary, huh?
No, we don't. We gotta.
Y'all don't play William. Y'all play Richmond.
No, we got the.
Ain't y'all playing a D2 school next year? Ain't y'all playing a D2 school?
Nope.
Didn't we see
no D2 schools next season?
No D2.
We play Winston in 2024.
Lincoln College wasn't on there.
You confusing us with Florida.
That was on Tennessee State.
They're the ones. They're the ones that got two D2 schools at home. No, that's not us. We got one in 2024 though. We play Winston, but Winston's our rival. So what are our rivals?
Why do they always bring that up? That's our rival. Like that's an excuse.
It is.
It is not. It is not an excuse. It is not
a rivalry.
Okay, well, Delta State's Jackson State's rival too.
That will never be a rival.
Now
that will never be a rival.
That's hilarious.
I was using
Is it for Valley? Because Valley seems to play them every year. It sounds like.
Bro, Valley is not. They not a rival. They just down the street. Ain't no but like a 20-minute drive down the street.
On the same road.
That's the thing. But sometimes you play those type of games because it's a proximity thing. Like A&T plays Elon. I mean, A&T plays Elon because we've been playing Elon for years. because they're right down the street.
Man, I'm mad
Like,
at you
they're-
right now, bro. You got this damn man cave right behind you, bro, with all the good video games that I done grew up playing. Like, we up in here. My
Do
boy,
you turn those
Look,
off
man.
at night, or do those just run?
It helps with the lighting. I turn them off. I do them during the show because it helps with the lighting in the man cave.
man.
And it helps with the heat. I ain't got no heat down here, so.
He said,
I don't mess around, man. This is like my place. Like, this is like my place where I like dwell. Like, when I'm ready to, like, when I do my show, when I do PNP, I come down here.
Your place is zen.
This is my place of zen. Like, the monitor that I'm looking at is hooked up to an Xbox and a Switch. My PS5's upstairs. Like, I got all my stuff set up. So.
Dang,
man,
UConn slapped Gonzaga. What in the world? They didn't stand a chance.
Oh, they would get their ass whooped the whole time. What's up, man?
I needed Texas to lose and Gonzaga to win tonight to win the bracket. That ain't happen, obviously.
Oh no, they ain't
Texas plays tomorrow.
Yeah. My bracket was destroyed once Houston lost last night. I don't even care about it now.
You should have did the second chance. Why you didn't?
I did. I thought University of Houston was going to take it. It didn't matter.
It didn't matter because
the second chance bracket didn't stand a chance either.
The mid majors, man. The mid majors, the power five should only be in football and football only. We need to quit calling these freaking conferences power five.
For basketball,
none of that, because basketball. Look, other than like UConn's not in a power five conference. If you keep it a buck. They're not a Power 5 conference.
What's that?
UConn's not in the Power 5.
UConn went back. Well, UConn went back to the Big East for basketball, and they're independent for football, so it really don't even matter.
But the Big East is in a Power 5 conference because the Big East don't play football.
Right. So, but oh my God, But that made no sense.
You think about what's going to end up in. Like, if the only ACC team that makes the Final Four is Miami, that is wild to me. That's wild.
Oh, Coach Hayes about to have a field day for that. So A&T, we talked about this on Thursday. Mr. Kitchens talked about it. He said that A&T probably need to do a game against Jackson State, like a SWAC Blue Blood, trying to get the game up or something like that.
Look, real talk, I want to do, like, we're going to have to start doing 12 games in 2024. So we're going to have an extra slot. And I'm an advocate of trying to go against a SWAC school or, like, somebody. You know what I'm saying? But I'm wondering who they're going to go after for that 12th game because there's a lot of options. They could do South Carolina State because we don't have them on the schedule right now. They could do Alcorn. They could do Jackson, or Southern. You know, it's. I don't know what they're gonna do with that 12th game. Or they could make the decision to go after somebody or play somebody else, play another team that's like in the area.
Oh yeah, Mr. Kitchen said. Mr. Kitchen, my boy, Dave from NCAA Football Zone. They was like, and Kobe. They was like, bro, it's time for Hampton to go back to the MEAC.
It's not happening, dog. You know what's funny? I finally went back around and listened to the pirate ship episode that they were talking about because I guess they've been paying attention to the internet streets too, and those guys are going to start hopping on podcasts to go defend Hampton, which I'm happy for. Which is why they hopped on the Golden Boot. Which is why they're going to probably hop on other podcasts if you pop them an invite. But they're not going back, man, because if it was up to them, they wouldn't have been back to the MEAC in the first place. When you think about the lineage and the history of Hampton, they had no intention. Like, the MEAC was more like, all right, because the CAA won't let us in now after we want to leave the CIAA, then we'll go to the MEAC because we can go to the MEAC. But, like, Dennis Thomas was the AD when they were pushing to go to the CAA. And you know who the commissioner of the MEAC was. It was Dennis Thomas. It was Dennis Thomas. Yeah. So like in the grand scheme of things, Dennis Thomas being the commissioner as long as he was in that conference, you know, Hampton kind of always had like the keys and I think there was some break off when Hampton made the decision to bolt the way that they did, because Hampton's not good at bolting these conferences, bro. They just bolt. They don't give them a year. They just leave. But at least they're consistent. They did the same thing in the Big South. They didn't give them cats a year. They just bolted.
What kind of contract are they signing to where they're able to just bolt like that?
Oh, you pay that. You pay that exit fee.
They just don't care.
You pay that exit fee.
But the thing is, but the thing is, you got to pay the exit fee regardless.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of what the conference wants to do, because the conference could do more. Like the MEAC and the Big South could have done more, because you're supposed to give them time. Like, you notice when A&T left the MEAC, there wasn't no vitriol when we left, other than why y'all leaving too. It wasn't the same type of vitriol from that standpoint with the other schools from an administrative standpoint. Like when Hampton left, it was from an administrative standpoint because they bolted. They bolted and didn't give the right time frame because they broke the bylaws in the contract. Because Dr. Harvey thought because of who Dennis Thomas was, he could just leave. He just do what he wants.
He basically said, "Man, fuck that! I'm taking my ball. I'm going home."
Yeah, he pulled an Al Davis. He pulled an Al Davis on Dennis Thomas, and just was like, "I'm out."
Man,
and they put the Big South in a bind too, because all the teams that was supposed to play Hampton that year, they had to scramble to go find a game. Like A&T was scheduled to play homecoming for that year against Hampton, and of course they're pitting us right this year. We're playing Hampton for their homecoming, so that was hilarious when I noticed that. I might make a trip down there. We'll see.
Oh man,
Mr. Force said that y'all gonna lose y'all G-Ho to Townsend.
No, we lost. No, we're not gonna lose to Townsend. And we lost our G-Ho a few years ago. So
that's what Mr. Force said. I'm just repeating what Mr. Force said.
Mr. Ford don't watch, and it's obvious because if you would have watched, you would have noticed that we've lost a G-Ho before. We lost the Mammoth. We lost the Mammoth right after the pandemic. We lost the Mammoth because we weren't that good.
Yeah, I'm about to shut this thing down. So I got to get myself well tonight. I mean, so I can get back to work in the morning. I've been battling the flu. So, what we got anything else as far as you got going on for Carolina Panthers, man? Because y'all need a quarterback. You got your receiver. You got the running back. You got all your good stuff. You just need a QB. CJ Stroud to Carolina. Yeah, I said it.
Stroud or Young, bro. As long as they don't do no crazy thing like take Levis or Richardson with the number 1 pick, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Just pick one. I'm an advocate for Stroud, but just pick one. Just pick one. We got our weapons for him. Our defense is gonna be good. Probably go BPA for the rest of the draft. Just pick one. That's all I ask. Just pick.
See what you got for next week. Sabrina. Co-host.
Oh no. Okay.
Simona.
What?
What you got for next week? What?
Nothing much.
You know what?
I'm gonna drop a video about Jackson State recruiting for basketball and my spring football update for Jackson State. I haven't talked about it yet. That's it.
Cool beans.
Y'all, and if you're not subscribed to me, go ahead and subscribe to me. I only need 5 more followers till I get to 1,600 subscribers.
Oh, hell no, man. Come on, man. Y'all can't be. You know what?
She beating you out, huh?
She beat me out, man. She started late and she beat me out. But that's cool though. That's cool.
Listen,
I'm good.
There's just some things. There's just some things you just can't compete with, Doc. There's just some things you just cannot compete with. I'm just hoping we break 20,000 before the draft for my show. That's all I'm hoping for at this point.
Man, just send about 5 to me, bro. Just send 5. Say, hey, 5,000 need to go over here and talk to see my boy.
Listen, if we can break 20,000 for the draft, there's gonna be a big celebration on the first day of the draft. Even though the draft show gonna be boring because we got the number 1 pick, so there ain't gonna be too much waiting. I don't think we're gonna trade back into the draft. We might still go through the first round, and then I got a wedding to go to, so Rashad gonna go solo for at least maybe a day or 2 of them, but we'll see. I might try to set up shop at the hotel. We'll see. I might try to go live at the hotel we staying at for the wedding that week.
All right, man.
But just an FYI, I'm gonna be at the spring game, I don't know if you saw my
Okay.
retweet, but I might see. I'm gonna try to see if I can get involved with the streaming aspect to see if I can get that thing streamed up, because I don't know if A&T's planning on it or not. So I'm gonna see what's going on with that. I got a lot of events going on that weekend, so that's Saturday. So we'll see what happens.
Man, thank you for jumping on though. And
nah, man, look, and I wasn't there for an hour. See. I just want to talk my shit. That's all I wanted to do. See. That's all.
Nah, but we're gonna have to talk about A&T football. I'm gonna have to get you on there probably either Monday or Tuesday.
I'm just messing around with SheLovesThee. Just a reminder, man, that we ain't no doorstep in this conference, man. We out here winning these games. We out here beating these cats up. We out here putting in this work. We out here getting projected to be last in all these sports. Baseball, they had us last. We taking it to all these teams. Beating up on Hofstra right now. Hofstra projected to be third in that damn baseball conference, and we just destroying these cats. We might sweep them tomorrow in baseball. So let's
I can't see. Man, but all right, man. I'm gonna hit you up on Twitter, bro.
All right, man. I'll holler.
Bet. So my last thing I'm gonna do is I know everybody's been talking about this. Yeah, I don't know what hit last night. I don't know if it was an EF4 or EF5, but I just know that the city of Rolling Fork is pretty much obliterated. And so my new thing I'm gonna do is try to come up with a disaster relief for everybody at the that's in Rolling Fork, Mississippi. So you already know you can hit the Cash App, or you can actually do a super chat or super sticker, so that way we can raise this money so we can send down to the people in Rolling Fork, because they need it. They need it. It's pretty much the same storm that came through early Friday morning here in Dallas. You know, they spawned like 2 tornadoes up in Parker County. But people in Rolling Fork, Anguilla, Silver City, yeah, they need it. They need the help they can get. And I don't even think that old Tater Tot gonna do anything right now. So so if you want to the Cash App, put it in the chat so that way everybody knows what it is. I forgot to put it on here. So you can send the money to Cash App to Holiday 1925, or you can also do you can also send it through the channel. Through the channel, anything that we got going through the channel, like I said, it goes back to the channel. But for the disaster relief, it's gonna go straight to the people in Rolling Fork, and we're gonna try to make sure that I will send it to them. So just let everybody know that's the Cash App. Is you want to go ahead and send it. And if you do send it, I will give you a shout out to let you know that I did receive it. And also, if you want to go ahead and send it through super chat or a super thanks or a sticker, that would be appreciative also. But it was a good show tonight. I am gonna turn it in, or I'm probably gonna look at Ken, listen to Ken's show. So if you flip over there, KC 1400, he got my boy Kobe Orr from the Blitz City Podcast. He's on there right now. And y'all make sure y'all subscribe to both channels. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. and also make sure you go ahead and get the membership, get that membership in. So I will create another tier for the membership. That way, it helps out the channel. so, so Edwin, the significance of the 1925 is I am an Alpha Phi Omega. I am what people would call A5Q. So I pledged that at Stephen F. Austin at the time. And I tried to bring the chapter back to Jackson State. They didn't want me to do it, but they did it this year, and they're being recharted now. So, but I've been in the organization. It'll be 17 years next month on the 29th. So, yes, sir. Fraternity year. But other than that, man, if y'all want to go ahead, like I said, this is a real good thing. This is the thing to do to give the charity for to others and not for ourselves. Uh, but as always, this has been the HBCU Overdrive and SheLovesThee Saturday Night Live, where HBCUs matter. Make sure that you subscribe to both channels. Make sure you like on both streams. Make sure you comment, share, and like I said again, subscribe, hit notification for both HBCU Overdrive and SheLovesThee. Uh, until then, you will check us out next Saturday. That's it. I got yeah. You try to check us out next Saturday. My stepson got prom next week. I don't know what about tomorrow. I don't know what you got going on, but other than that, man, y'all be blessed. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay dangerous. Remember, like I said, the disaster relief for the tornado victims in Rolling Fork. Let's go ahead and get this done. Let's get this. Let's make it happen. I will put in my money to donate also. So let's try to get it done, y'all. Um, trying to get this. But as always, man, we out. Till the next time.